Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Ladd with your Sactown Sports headlines. NBA is back, and the Sacramento Kings will be back in action tonight when they host the Portland Trailblazers. Kings will also have guard Malik Monk back on the floor tonight after he missed 2 games with a sprained ankle. But he told reporters on Tuesday after the Kings practice that he is ready to go tonight. You can listen to the game starting with game night at 5:30 and tip-off scheduled for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. Speaking of the Trailblazers, it has been a hectic 24 hours. Their flight was delayed with the entire team on the plane for several hours until it was finally canceled due to a winter storm. The team rescheduled the flight for this morning to be able to play tonight's game against the Kings. It is 11 o'clock and time for Deuce and Mo.
live from Sacramento
It's Deuce and Mo.
on Sactown Sports.
We are live when the NBA is back. We've had too much time off. The last time the Kings played a game was last Tuesday. But tonight at the G1C, the playoff push is here, Morgan Reagan. The Kings trying to end a 16-year playoff drought, and it all starts tonight against Deng Dala and the Portland Trailblazers, who are going to be a little tired and grumpy, Morgan.
Why?
They were stuck on a plane last night. They weren't able to take off until this morning. Their routine's completely broken and shattered, and the Kings have a good opportunity to take advantage. We'll be talking about that today on the show. Morgan, how are you?
Ooh, I'm great. I love when you come in with a little heat. With a
What's
little
that?
fire.
Daddy dude? What's that supposed to mean?
It was a compliment. It was just a compliment. There was no backhanded
There
compliment.
was ill intent. It's just you come in today and you come in because you're feeling good about yourself. You got a little pep in your step because Morgan got highlights done.
First time in like 8 years, baby.
Yeah.
Dude.
You get to a point where the grays are coming in. You're like, I got to cover that up. It's
No.
just, you don't want to.
I didn't cover my grays. My grays are right here.
Oh,
and
you're telling me you told him, hey, I know you're highlighting my hair, but definitely do not touch the grays.
He knew that I have been appreciating my 7 gray hairs. I really do. I think there's something like sexy about them. And like, yeah, I'm becoming a cougar quick. Is that good?
Okay.
I'm a cougar.
Is that what cougar sounds like?
It's a little older than Cougar.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a cougar.
That's like a dying cougar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
like
a saber-toothed tiger.
Is that what we call like a 90-year-old that's chasing like 60-year-olds?
Okay, I don't know what it was I'm going for, but either way, I like a few grays and a little bit of blonde highlights.
What inspired this change? This is kind of drastic.
Sometimes when you have I don't want to make it sound bad. When you have like a little bit of like anxiety attacks or mental breakdowns that like come together into one place and you're like, what can I control? I can control my hair color. So I'm going to make that change. And that's what I did. I just said, do it. Let's go.
People in the chat liking the hair.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations. Still not as good as my hair, but hey, because I'm all natural, just so you're aware.
Well, I've been natural. I had virgin hair for 8 years and then I went to highlights. What? You said you've dyed your hair before.
I
so
know, but it's just like virgin hair. It just sounds weird to
that's
me.
what they.
You've just been saying some weird things yesterday. Like you said, what did you say? You're sober curious right now. Like I let that fly yesterday, but because you're doing like non-alcoholic wine, trying to take off my.
That was very good. You didn't say you were, but you said some people are sober curious.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? That's the term that
I've never heard the term before, but I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Dude, it's like a new wave, a new term that people are using because the whole non-alcoholic.
I see what we're doing.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
I got highlights. I'm trying to use cool terms. I'm trying to stay hip. I'm trying to cover up my grays. You're dealing with
my grays are there.
You are facing. You're trying to handle reality, which is you're just an aging person, and that can be challenging for some people.
That's not. I appreciate age. I just said I wanted to be a cougar with a cigarette in my hand, looking old and sounding old. Come on.
That's not sustainable.
I don't smoke, by the way.
We are going to have a lot of fun today.
Hell yeah.
Our guy Combo, Andrew Salop, but we call him Combo.
Yeah.
He has an awesome podcast. He played pro ball overseas.
Hooper.
He is a hooper. He's going to stop by at noon today to talk some Kings and some NBA. And then the icon, the legend, the G-Man Gary Gerald will be live with us at 1 o'clock. You know, a couple of things.
What?
Greg Van Dusen, former Kings vice president, passed away yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? And he was responsible for a lot of things. But one of the things he was responsible for was hiring the G-Man Gary Gerald.
So cool. So cool.
That's a big deal. And G-Man's been calling games for 38 seasons. So we'll reflect on that and then also talk some Kings with him as he approaches 3,000 career games on the call for the Sacramento Kings.
Wild. Congrats. It's so cool. I mean, G-Man is just like top-notch human being, but like top-notch broadcaster. Just so good in everything that he does.
And he's had to call a lot of garbage.
A lot of
so much
trash.
We're going to ask him
basketball.
about that. Like
Yeah.
how mentally, how have you dealt with that? 38 years, because we interact with a lot of fans. We're all fans. We haven't been fans for all 38 years. I wasn't alive. Well, there are a lot of people who listen to the show. Like, I don't remember 1985. I don't remember the 1990 Kings. There are definitely some driving around right now who remember.
Yeah.
But G-Man's been at every game. Those games used to skip back in the day because they weren't televised. He was there calling the games, right?
Yep.
You know, the random Tuesday night game that you read about in the paper the next day because they lost in Charlotte by 50.
Yeah.
He was at that game watching it.
And you know what's wild?
He's experienced trauma.
Even with all the trauma and awful basketball he has watched, I'm telling you, listen to him on the call. Is always just present, there, completely calling the game, no matter what season it is, no matter what game it is, just equally, right? Like, it's just he cares so much about the art form of broadcasting and calling game, and I respect him so damn much.
Well, he's going to be with us at 1 o'clock, and we'll talk about the Kings next 25 games. It's big. And then we'll look ahead at Kings Blazers. This sounds like my transition here is going to sound so like lame.
Ooh, I love it.
Hey, what do you think of the weather yesterday? How about the weather? Hey, this weather is wild. It was 70 degrees last week, and now was it snowing yesterday? Honestly, though,
Wow.
at one point yesterday, I ran outside to the backyard because I'm doing some prep for Stockton Kings broadcast, and I'm prepping away, and I look and I see something. Like, I remember hearing about snow in the forecast potentially.
Yeah.
And I swear there was snow. I ran out there like it was going to be a snow day. Like we were going to be off for the next 2 weeks getting snowed in or something. I was that excited. Your imagination starts going.
Yeah.
And then people are like, no, that was hail. Apparently it was not hail either.
It was not hail, but
It was grapple. Have you heard of grapple?
No, because we don't live in the Midwest. How are we supposed to know what this garbage weather is?
yeah, grapple.
Exactly. Grapple is snowflakes that collect supercooled water droplets on the outer surface from when it's very cold, but there are above freezing temps at the surface. The texture is soft and wet. That's what we got yesterday. We got grapple, which is pretty much snow. Snow adjacent. It's snow.
Definitely snow adjacent. No, it's snow.
Okay. Quick question. When did you choose to look that up? When it was falling, or today?
I didn't look it up. Okay, I follow the National Weather Service of Sacramento on Twitter, so I'm aware of the rain.
And they said it was grapple.
They were explaining the differences between grapple and hail, because I've seen it. We've all seen hail.
Yeah.
That wasn't hail yesterday.
No.
You know, it hits the ground hard. This was soft. It looked like snow. I got so excited. I'm like, oh my God, it's snowing. And I look, it's 52 outside.
So everyone might have a story of where they were or what they were doing when this was happening. I was obviously in a hair salon because I guess when you get highlights, I didn't realize this, you're there for like 4 hours. Or awful. I don't even know how I'm going to have time for this on non-off days, but who cares? And everyone, I'm in my chair, wet or whatever, foils, and everyone runs to the door. And I'm like, is there a fire?
Man.
Is there something else going on?
Were we at the same place at the same time?
Did that happen to you?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where I'm curious where everyone else was, because if you were in public and the grapple was coming down, everyone sprints to the door and I'm like, I'm going to die. I can't move. I'm going to die. And then they're like, it's snowing. It's snowing. Okay. Cute little salon. Like, let's not.
I might have
run
started
so
that
fast.
rumor too.
What?
Because I just yelled out, "It's snowing!" And then everyone came into my barber's room and was just looking out the window.
God, it would have been so magical to have some snow.
Go to Tahoe, bro. Go to Tahoe.
Okay, I know Tahoe's close. Okay, I've been in the snow before. It's not like I've never seen snow. I just wanted it to be snow. There's something different when it's your hometown and it's like it doesn't snow here.
So, does anyone remember the snow? Like, I feel like it was 2010, 2000.
No,
Nobody.
No. There was early 2000s. We had snow in Sacramento.
I do remember that.
Yeah, like 2002.
Okay, or maybe it was 2002. Either way, I remember it snowing near and around Sacramento around that time.
Probably like around the last time the Kings were in the playoffs.
Long time.
Long time. It
Long
was the
time.
last time that we saw snow, and now we're seeing something close to snow, which means that we're probably seeing the Kings close to the playoffs.
That's
Nailed
what that
it.
means. That's what it means. Man, this is exciting.
Which
25 games left. There's meaning. The Kings play the Blazers tonight. You're at Golden One Center. It's going to be loud.
Yeah.
The last time we were there, it was an unbelievable atmosphere. I'm excited to see how the Kings look coming out tonight. There's a lot of things in their favor for sure. And I don't just go by what they say during press conferences or media sessions.
Yeah.
But it does sound like they all have kind of the same mindset. It's like, all right, what's got to be better? Everyone's talking about the defense has to be better. We have to be better defensively. I've got some crazy defensive numbers to share later on in the show.
Oh, about the Kings?
About the Kings, how they are in the first half versus the second half of games.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty intriguing stuff. But yeah, I'm curious what it's going to be like because you've got Davion Mitchell, who was talking to the media yesterday, Harrison Barnes, all these players, Malik Monk, and they're all talking about like, this is the playoffs start now.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like this is the separation between where the Kings are at in the lottery is not like it's 25 games. I'm looking at it here. The Kings are only 3 games above the play-in bracket right now. They're only 4.5 games out of the lottery. And it just goes to show you how insane the Western Conference is. You look at the Blazers. The Blazers are under 500 right now. We're going, that's not a good team, right? Like, you know, they're a half game out of the play-in.
I was just about to say, where are they at? Okay. Half game out of the play-in.
And I believe they're just 2 games out of the 6th spot in the West. They're on the outside looking in, but a good stretch, they could be in the top 6. And this is why it's so we need to understand we haven't seen anything like this. And I know what you're thinking. Yeah, the Kings haven't been in the playoff conversation. No, what we're seeing in the West and the separation between 3 and 12, it's pretty wild. And this is why it makes it feel like the playoffs start today.
Okay, here's a question for you. Does it kind of suck that out of all years for the Kings that this is the year that the West is packed up? Or is it like, oh, I love this stuff?
This is great. I want you to have this type of mindset now. Because we always talk about like, hey, man, how much experience do they have? You look up and down this roster, the Kings don't have a ton of guys that have NBA playoff experience. Kevin Huerter does. Harrison Barnes does. Who am I missing? There's probably a couple others that I'm just not thinking of at the top
playoff
of my head.
experience.
Bonus.
Yep, there you go.
So it's not like you have a ton of players who have made amazing deep runs, right? There is a different level of focus and engagement coming. And I think the Kings understand that. Now, it's one thing to understand it. Now you got to go do it on the floor. And I don't care that Portland's below 500. They're playing for something. They need to win. They're shorthanded. There's a lot of things going against Portland tonight.
I want to talk more about this, and I know we have to break, but this is one more thing. It's just funny because when we were having the conversation yesterday, you and I, and we thought we were saying the same thing and we weren't. And then you asked Jason Gallagher about the Kings in the Western Conference and other teams and how they portray the Kings. I'm telling you, I think all these teams that are bunched up are respecting every single one right now, each other.
Yeah.
I do.
You had to say it before the break so I wouldn't like jump you.
That's
what it was.
Hell yeah.
We're going to be back in 60 seconds on the radio side, but we're always live even during the breaks at youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. Oh yeah, let's shout out the YouTube crowd, right?
What up, you two?
Shout out to Patrick and Blake. Protocols in the building. James, Trevor, what's up, Tay? Martin, Jamar, Mike, Barnbaum. Hey, what's up, Kyle? Chill's in the building. What's up, Chill? Ragnarok, Josue, Jack, Paul, Ian, Sydney. Hey, Free from Aggie. Morgan, say hi to Alfonso.
Hi, Alfonso.
What's up, Juby? HF, Leonard. What's up, Lee? Pedro, Brett. Appreciate all you guys being here. Also, if you're just hanging back and you're like, I don't really participate in the chat, one thing you need to participate in, hitting that thumbs up button. Click the like button when you get here because it just helps this channel grow. So people are aware of what we're doing each and every day here on Sactown Sports.
Give me a hell yeah.
What's up, Sean? Four Tails Podcast. What is up? John says, I need Kings basketball. Trevor, hey.
Dude, people are feeling it. Like they're craving it.
Oh, I am too.
Yeah. And it's only been a couple of days. I mean, since last Tuesday.
What's going on with Morgan's hair? She got it done, man.
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
Kings and Blazers tonight. There's a buzz in the air. The Kings. The playoff push starts tonight in Sacramento. Oh, it's a shorthanded Blazers team, a little banged up. And we don't have an update on the Blazers status, but I believe they are in the air right now. This is pretty bizarre stuff, right? Like teams don't usually travel day of game, right? The Blazers were trying to leave last night from Portland.
And
weather was a big time factor. They were on the tarmac for 7 hours last night before they went, all right, we're going to try to leave tomorrow around 10 a.m. So the Blazers are traveling day of game, meaning it's completely out of routine for them. Usually for a typical game day for a team, they get in the night before. This morning, right around this time, they're probably doing a shoot around, a walk through. They go back, maybe eat, get some treatment, take a nap, then back at the arena, probably 3:34, 4:30, depending on what time they're supposed to be there. They're probably not going to land until like noon. By the time they get to their rooms and check in, they're pretty much having to get ready and go to the arena.
So you and I were talking a little bit about this before the show, and 7 hours waiting on a plane. I said to Deuce, I was like, I know these guys not only had to wait 7 hours and then they got to sleep in their own beds, right? Because they all went back home and were like, okay, we got to take a plane the next morning, whatever. I'm like, going back home, even depending on where you live and then in a snowed in place like Portland, it's still got to be rough. I mean, we're talking about taking you out of routine. Like you talk about the guys in Sacramento. Think about some guys, if they had to drive from Sacramento, they were stuck for 7 hours and then they had to drive back to Folsom or El Dorado Hills or wherever that way. It's a long ass day.
Yeah, the good news for them is they were able to go back to their house.
And
right?
I said that.
No, I know. I'm just saying, this has happened on the road before where it's like, then you have to go check into a hotel when you already just checked out. It's a mess. It's happened to teams before, but this is a little better situation. But you're right. It completely messes up your day. Also, 7 hours on a tarmac.
7 hours.
I'm sorry.
Which hour are you off?
Am I high maintenance for going, I'm off after hour 2?
Ooh.
Maybe 3 is my cutoff.
Okay.
There is no chance. Like, if we're at 3 and it's like, yeah, we don't know, I'm gonna be like, well, let's just leave tomorrow. What? 7 hours?
What's your cutoff, Chris?
And these are NBA players.
Yeah.
No, I think you just like you're hoping to get out.
Boo.
No.
You need to become more high maintenance. Yeah. I'm with
I am
you, dude.
furious. Like if I'm Dame Lillard, I'm not making a rap song while I'm there, which that was cool. We'll play it. But like I'm going up to Chauncey Billups going, we got to call this, man. This is Dame time.
Of course,
we got to go.
Of course. Deuce would be the one that makes the call. I would be the one.
There's no way I'm sitting on it. What do you do for 7 hours on a plane?
At hour 4 would be probably my cutoff. And I'd be like, oh, no. We're not going anywhere. So we are going home. Like I would make the call for everybody at that point. I feel like you would be complaining about it after hour 3. Like, what are we doing here?
I'll be honest. I'd be complaining after about 90 minutes.
Oh,
Well,
God.
the bad thing is like I think once you're on the plane, you have no call on it anymore. Isn't it?
We can't leave. We can't just like walk off the plane.
No.
Well,
Okay, then you know what I'm saying? Okay,
What?
well, I know the emergency instructions. Boom! I'm hitting the door. I'm doing the inflatable, and then all the players are just jumping out and going to their cars. Can you imagine that? You just see Dame.
Honestly, if you were on an NBA team, yes, I could absolutely imagine this. Oh my God, Deuce. I get it. I get it. Either way, these guys somehow waited it out for 7 hours. Then they went back and slept in their own beds, left today. The other thing I was saying to you is, yeah, the Kings need to capitalize on them being tired.
As long as you've got Wi-Fi and chargers, you're fine.
That's not true.
That's just boring.
Who wants to be
boring.
Yeah, I don't care if even I have an audiobook. I'm like sitting still, not getting a second thing done while listening to an audiobook to me is a waste of life.
Dame made the most of the time. He wrote a song, and then they videotaped it. I just caught myself saying that. So they wrote a rap song, and they took out a camera and recorded it. What's wrong with me? Why is that? Why am I saying it like that?
Because you're old, dude.
Oh.
I got 7 grays, and you have some old ass lingo.
So Chris said he edited this, which is I can't wait to hear it because I watched this morning, and Dame is just beyond talented.
Yeah.
What he does, the fact that he put together a song that was like this good on the plane while waiting. But there are a lot of F-bombs and stuff in there.
As there should be.
So let's hear how it went down the plane. Oh my God. This is happening again, huh? This is happening again.
Would you like me to play it, Deuce?
No, you know what I want, Chris? I just want it to work. I'm going to try it again. I'm trying it again.
Do you have the PC up in there?
It's up.
Okay.
Hey. How the f we stuck up in the snow? Guess we fly this tomorrow. Bookies know I keep a clip, won't change what I'ma get tomorrow. Back stuck on the plane, I might have to buy a fit tomorrow. In this cuffing weather, grab your you might get hit tomorrow. You gon' set the pick, I'm pulling up on 40. Bitches, cause they act like they don't know me. I'ma tap my wrist, it's game time. I give them fits in with the gang, we keep it lit. Cap, let me in the pit. Hey, me and T, I thought y'all knew that was my. At the door and grab my T-sip off the 6. Shooters in the locker room like we the wizard. Got me tight, stepped up in this blizzard.
Pretty good.
Wow. I would have just been in the background going, F this plane. F this plane. F this plane.
And I would be the teammate that's in the corner. Like, I'm not participating. I'm pissed. I want to be home. There's no way. And I'm actually, it makes me respect Dame. This is what the quality of human being is. That Dame is like, no, like, let's all make a song together. Let's do an activity. Let's all hang out.
Good.
I mean, I would be furious. I'm done.
And I would be the one going like, hey guys, come on, let's do something.
Oh, Chris, you
heads up, 7-Up.
I'd be like, why not just take a bus right now? We can just hop on a bus, or let me just go home. Here's an idea. Let me go home and call me when the plane is ready.
Deuce, right now, his energy is giving like he's on the plane right now.
Yeah. You are upset.
I am upset. And this is what the Blazers have to deal with tonight. They're coming. They're flying right now.
Well, so we think. I mean, they probably are flying right now. And and really quick too, that rap, I hope he records it somewhere else because it was good. It was really good.
Yeah, the line in there, that shooter in the locker room like we're the Wizards, that was really good.
That one was,
reference of course, Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton, which is still insane. Like, they just brought guns in the locker room.
How is there not a Netflix documentary about that?
Yeah,
there will be one day. One day. But yeah, now you had some team bonding. You're short some guys. You had a weird schedule headed into Sacramento. It's not going to be easy for the Blazers, but we've also seen the Kings lose after being rested on their home floor before and against teams that were shorthanded before going to the Philadelphia 76ers, right?
No Anthony Simons.
Yep.
No Nurkic. Justice Winslow, who destroyed the Kings that game on opening night, he's not playing. They do have Matisse Thybulle in the fold now. Cam Reddish, who's going to start for them? We've seen Thybulle and Reddish in the starting lineup, but there could be some tweaks tonight. We'll talk more about that game, and a big-time coaching move in the NBA could be coming. We're going to talk about that. It's Deuce and Mo. It's on Sactown Sports. Hey, chat. Let's get to over 100 thumbs up.
Someone says, not a banger, but you had to be there to see it live. Kind of.
Oh,
thing.
yeah. You know, I don't know what hour he performed that. When do you think they got that? That was not the final hour. I feel like that's an hour 3 thing. And then by like 5, you're like, okay.
Oh, maybe this wasn't.
Okay,
now what do we do?
There's no way they were happy.
Deuce would be the guy. You would be the guy, like 2 hours after all that was recording and you're ticked off listening to it, and that you would be saying, oh, so you guys got another one or something? Why don't we do another one? I guess we're going to be here all night.
I just don't like wasting time.
No,
I don't like wasting time. And to me, that's inefficient. In my head, NBA planes, like the charter planes, these private planes, they should never run into weather issues, right? That's where I always think, like, why do they have weather issues? Like, don't they have
they have propellers that can get through snow,
Yeah,
fire,
right?
wind.
And also, I'm not that convinced like the snow is that bad. I've got a source from Portland.
Oh, come on.
I do.
I mean, I have a source too, but go.
But they said, I got to get it now so I could get they said one time it dusted snow in Portland and on the college campus they were on, they completely closed it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think the wind, wasn't the wind bad too yesterday? There was like a lot of issues.
I mean,
Don't planes fly on wind? Why is that a problem?
Yeah.
there was grapple in Sacramento.
From the YouTube chat, over under says, what's wrong with Morgan's hair?
Oh, thank you.
By the way, what's wrong with Morgan's
Can
hair?
I be honest? The
Yeah, you
lighting and the camera not giving me the vibes that I need for my debut hair, but it looks good on on a different camera. So, and also I really don't care what you think. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't care if you like my 7 gray hairs. I don't care if you like my new highlights, because I like it all.
I like 5 of the 7.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Which
but
5?
Huh?
There's one really long one. I'm like, ooh, you cute.
That's my favorite.
Oh yeah. She talks. Oh my god. Oh, thanks, Tina. You get me, girl. Cheers. Hit that thumbs up, says BCH custom cabinetry.
Thank you for reading it a little bit before, like yesterday.
I know what I said yesterday. I know what I said. She's losing her mind. Oh, honey, she's already lost her mind. Own it, honey. Thank you.
Let's get to 150 thumbs up. I also put up a poll question today.
Yeah.
The poll question is, call your shot. Do you think the Kings make the playoffs?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a...
Let's see what the update is. Switch.
Mine.
Yeah, I don't know why it does this on their channel. Wow.
Oh, what is it?
86% of people say yes. They will stay in the top 6. 9% say nope, play in. 4% say lottery team, aka I'm a troll. So I just left the troll category.
Oh, that's
And they're probably thinking, how can I be a troll if they say I'm a troll?
I can't click it.
You guys excited for the AEW reality show coming out?
I watched some of Dynamite last night. I'm so down on AEW.
Dynamite? Last night? Oh,
yeah.
That was on last night.
It was on last night. All I know is Tony Khan's got a big announcement, an important announcement.
He always does.
I know.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlad with your Sactown Sports headlines. NBA is back. The Sacramento Kings will be back in action tonight when they host the Portland Trail Blazers. Kings will also have guard Malik Monk back on the floor tonight after he missed 2 games with a sprained ankle, but he told reporters Tuesday after Kings practice that he is ready to go. You can listen to tonight's game starting with game night at 5:30 and tip-off scheduled for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. Speaking of the Trailblazers, it's been a hectic 24 hours after their flight was delayed with the entire team for several hours on the tarmac until it was finally canceled due to a winter storm. The team rescheduled the flight for this morning to be able to play tonight's game against the Kings. It is 11:30. Capital Casino conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. And now more of Deuce and Mo.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo.
Sactown Sports.
Oh, man. The Kings are being featured in the New York Times?
Woo!
I actually thought it was kind of cool.
It was.
The headline was, Sacramento's latest craze is like a bat signal. I saw who wrote the story, and of course I did not write it down. Is it Kellen Browning?
I have it.
Let me know, because I believe he's from Sacramento.
Yeah,
So
is.
credit to him for forcing a Sacramento King story.
Yep. Kellen Browning.
I was right.
You were right.
I love one quote in there from Doug Christie. It's like the bat signal. It's taken on a life of its own.
That's so cool. And it's not exaggerating. I mean, when you look at what people around the league and the basketball world are saying, and then people that aren't even basketball fans, but you're just in this city and you're like, oh, I love the whole like light the beam. And even the guy that did my hair, not a sports fan. And he went to a game and he was like, I went to a game that they lost, but all I wanted to see was that beam. I thought that was so cute.
Even our guy, Young Zell.
Yeah.
He performed his Light the Beam song today on Good Day Sacramento.
Dude, congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah, people are digging it. So it's cool to see it get some national attention in the New York Times. So that's awesome. And now
Failing New York Times.
Yeah. You know what's you want to know a little secret for me? This is bad.
This is really bad.
Support journalism for sure.
Support journalism.
Well, I did that for a second, but it's so expensive.
It is.
It's so expensive.
And let's just say we pay for Substacks, like all the NBA ones.
You don't
yes.
have to justify
Okay,
it. But
okay.
here's what I do.
But
when I want to read the New York Times, I search on Google New York Times plus 72 hours plus library. And libraries around the country allow you to get a free 3-day trial. So that's what I do all the time.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a good little, it's a little hack. You're welcome. That's how I read the story.
little hack.
Yeah.
You can do it too.
I mean, it's there for a reason.
It is there. I mean, it's an option.
It's
Okay.
not even a hack. You're using the library.
Yeah, but today you call
Paper.
anything that's more efficient a hack,
Yeah.
Life hack.
Life hack.
hack.
It's a
There we
life hack.
go.
Absolutely.
You should make that a TikTok.
So the Kings are right now, the latest I looked, yesterday they were favored by 5 points in this game, which is like, okay, that's pretty good. Now it's up to 6.5 points.
Because of everything.
Because of the issues. I mean, I do think this is a game for Sacramento where you're just like, you got to win this game. And I'm not like, I don't subscribe to the J Mars thing or what other fans say when they drop must win every other game. It's like, well, no, because a must win means you have to win it. Otherwise it's done. But it's such an important game. And we talk about the Kings not taking advantage when they've got the rest advantage and sometimes not taking advantage of teams who are shorthanded. The Blazers are all of that tonight. And they, although before the break in the last 15 games have been killing it offensively, number 1 in offensive rating, they are beyond dead last in defensive rating. This is a bad defensive team. They don't got Nurk down there. No Simons. I know they got Dame, but you got to take care of business tonight.
There's a lot of reasons why when you look at this game tonight and you go, and why even J Mars feels compelled to say it's a must win. I understand the thought process, especially because when you look at all the pieces that are coming out in this last couple of days, the media scrums at practice and what Mike Brown is saying about these last 25 games and how they feel they have a target on their back, they're hunted, all these different things. If that is the mentality and that's how you feel, then that is why a game like tonight is how you have to start showing, hey, this isn't just our mentality. This is also how we're going to take action.
It's also like there's 25 games left. Like there's not a lot. That's going to go by really, really fast.
Yeah. And I think tonight we've seen this happen before though, Deuce, and that's why I'm not part of that group that are the, hey, must win, they have to get things done. I'm not there because this team, in my opinion, has proven that they are a good team in the NBA, in this league. But they've also have shown me times how their defensive flaws shine through and don't allow them to take over in some games that they're well rusted and can't even show up on that end of the floor and rotate over and talk it up and communicate. Their team defense is not always locked in.
It's not. And we'll talk more about those issues throughout the day because they got to be locked in. And it doesn't have to be great, but some of the numbers I have coming up, their first half versus second half defense numbers and their fourth quarter defense.
When do I get these numbers? I'm excited.
In a second.
Okay.
But I want to ask you about Quinn Snyder.
What about him?
This Hawks thing seems real.
I
Like
know.
they could be reaching a deal soon.
I know.
Shams put it out there. They have started formal discussions. What's that like?
What's the definition
Hey,
of
we kind of and they sit down and like they're all dressed up nice.
You can't say sup.
So
Say bro.
we are here to
Hello,
discuss
sir.
a head coaching opening. Well, thank you so much for considering me.
a meeting between one or more representatives of the agency
Yeah.
and one or more of the employees in the unit?
It's obviously pretty serious, and
Yes.
they had a virtual meeting on Wednesday.
That's like lightweight serious.
A virtual meeting.
That's like,
Do you think that was a Zoom meeting, or were they in like what's that Facebook land where they all have avatars?
Oh, meta.
They're in Meta. It's like Quinn Snyder has a little Meta avatar walking around.
No, turn around.
Yeah.
Turn around.
Where?
No.
I don't see you.
No, around. No, around.
Exactly. So,
no.
Snyder's, I
No.
guess, out of the country, but the sides are working on a potential in-person meeting in the very near future. But apparently, this is pretty serious. I am surprised. Snyder hasn't even been out for a year now.
Yeah.
And he looked like you saw him at the end of the Jazz tenure. It was kind of like when presidents go in the office and you see the before and afters, and you're like, wow, like they aged a lot. That's what Quinn Snyder was like when he first got the job till now. You're like, dude, he needs a break. And maybe he got the break, but now he may be electing to go into a situation where the Hawks are chaotic.
Yes.
He could probably get any NBA job opening he wants. Why would he take the Hawks job?
Here's my question. Why would he take the Hawks job when how long in the postseason or in the offseason were we talking about Quinn Snyder in the San Antonio Spurs?
Yeah, that's the one that's the most intriguing to me because how long's Pop going? Let's be honest. How long's Pop going?
That's why I'm asking. It's like that was something that was where our conversation was at. And that's
The Lakers were one that got mentioned, but
Right.
obviously they go with Darvin Ham.
and you look at the connection he has with Pop and everything that would happen with the Spurs organization.
Maybe get
When-
Victor.
I mean, all of it. Right. And if that was the next piece that was going to happen there, like all of those things. I mean, well, and then you even look at Houston and where they're landing, and then are they a Victor team as well? And they're probably going to get rid of Steven Silas. And so there's going to be other openings. Why would you do all this right now for the Hawks?
And maybe it's part of what we talk about. We look at the team on paper and we're like, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray,
Yeah,
Bogey, John Collins.
we did give them love.
Okongwu, like you've got pieces
Yeah.
there that should be better. Can he get more out of this team? Provide them the structure and accountability that can help them go in a better direction. I just think you're walking into a weird time where you've had front office changes. The ownership's kind of weird. That's been chronicled in The Athletic. And I think you're walking into a situation where Trae Young is like, do I want to be here long term?
Right.
So I don't know. I think that's a tough one for him to be interested in. So I was just really surprised at that.
Yeah, I'm with you there, but at the same time, we always say it too. At the end of the day, there's only 30 of these jobs, and they go really fast. And this is exactly an
But he
example.
can get
of that.
any job,
any
right?
job, any job. I mean, come on. How
Any
many times
opening.
did we see his name connected to so many different
Yeah.
openings? Like everyone wanted to talk to him. I think the only one when it was Sacramento, that was like there was an interest from his side, which Could you blame him at the time?
At the time.
They didn't.
Now
show
they
anything.
all want to show up, huh? Yeah.
Now you're asking for Mike Brown's job, huh?
Now they want our assistance.
Yeah, you get back.
You don't get Jordy.
Get back.
He's ours. He's not going anywhere.
Nope, nowhere.
Whether he likes it or not.
We're gonna tie him down.
All right. Speaking of the Kings, big game against the Blazers. I have some wild defensive numbers that we have to talk about.
I
though.
know.
And we'll do that coming up next on Sactown Sports. Will the Kings stay in the top 6? He scheduled this tweet. Oh God, Morgan's doing her. I need a mouse minute. Is that what you're doing?
No,
Oh.
I feel great, but hey, I'll take one, Chris.
Oh God, here we go.
Welcome to a Thursday's edition of Mo's Minute. How's your head? How's your heart? You don't know? Let's control that with a little breath, shall we? Let's go in through the nose and out the mouth. In 3, 2. Do that 7 more times on your own. This has been another Mo's Minute. Thank you, Chris. Thank
Namaste.
you, everyone. Namaste.
There's some guy on Twitter, by the way, who is
Yes.
just like looking up flights from Portland to Sacramento, where a scheduled departure was for 10:30, and it doesn't look like they've departed. Then they were supposed to depart at 11:13. So if that's correct, the Blazers may just be leaving. Is there at any point they would cancel the game?
Yeah. But I mean, it would
Yeah.
probably have to be like 3:00 in the
That'd
afternoon.
be really annoying.
I mean, if they land at 5, they're gonna say like, okay, go.
That would be wild.
Yeah. No, they would. I mean, that's what you say that would be wild. That's what WNBA players have to go through all the
Yeah.
time. But they're women. They can do it all.
Like literally, the only way it gets canceled is like there was not one person here.
Yeah. Pretty much. Andy said Portland would have to forfeit.
I don't think they would forfeit. The league would probably be like,
Yeah, it'd be
okay,
postponed.
like we'll reschedule this.
No, the Kings should fight it though. No.
They need a
Forfeit.
forfeit.
That'd be funny.
Oh, that would totally like we want to make basketball like wrestling. Like they should have the whole Kings warm up and stuff like that. Nothing happening, and they're like, "All right, let's start the clock. Let's go." And there's still nobody there, and then all of a sudden, Trailblazers come running on. Still have their clothes on. They don't even have jerseys on or anything like that.
They're playing in like jeans.
Yeah.
Leandro says, imagine if they had their whole G League team play as substitutes. Yeah, it's great. Portland does not have a G League team, which is weird. They have assigned players in the past to various G League teams,
That's what it
including the Ontario Clippers.
Oh.
I was thinking Canada, Ontario,
Nope.
not California, Ontario.
No.
California. Ontario, California.
You know any famous people from Ontario, California?
All the Clippers.
The Young Bucks.
Oh. It's where they learned how to wrestle.
That's cool. Are they Rampage exclusives now? Because that's all they're on. I have never been so disappointed with.
Does it make you sad that we spent money?
Yeah, I'm mad at. I support it. And then next week when we have a guest, I'm like, yeah. So, dude, AEW. You feel like you're changing this?
And you said no MJF, right, Morgan?
I would love
No.
MJF.
I don't want MJF.
Apparently, his fiance broke off the engagement.
Really?
Are we really surprised?
Well, no, but he even referenced it last night on Dynamite.
No.
Oh, he's a movie star now.
Yeah.
That guy looks like he added muscle pretty fast.
Oh, he did.
Oh, really?
Do they have a wellness policy in AEW?
Probably not. Probably not.
We're having this conversation while the AEW commercial is playing.
AEW. That commercial makes me laugh too.
And it's so funny.
They
'cause-
ran off all the. They say FTR is going to be there, which would be awesome.
See, this is like I think where I'm not that big of an FTR fan. I know you love FTR.
You really
yeah.
aren't?
No, they don't do anything for me.
Yeah, they
I
just
thought you're
they
like old
bring
school wrestler.
they
dude.
bring the best out of everybody, and they're really talented in ring. But Chris doesn't like them.
Oh, I mean, like you got the Young Bucks. I like them more.
But do you like
Yeah.
the Young Bucks going up against them?
Yeah,
like
it's cool.
they
But,
put
like,
up like.
But I'd rather see like the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros.
I mean, that's also great.
I'd rather watch the Young Bucks versus Top Flight.
Okay. Okay.
Live and local.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Watch the show now on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140 or listen for free on the Sactown Sports app.
Yeah, if you haven't checked out the YouTube page, you better check it out. We're live every single day. The chat is popping. We appreciate all those hanging out there. And if you haven't yet, make sure to hit that like or thumbs up button to help our channel grow. Also, download that free Sactown Sports app so you can get content, including Frankie Cardicelli's work. He covers the Kings. He just put out a game preview for tonight's Kings-Blazers game. This Blazers team could be a little groggy. It sounds like their flight is maybe just taking off within the last half hour to land in Sacramento.
And it's like, what, a 90-minute flight?
Easy flight. I don't know.
Either way, though, it's like what we've been saying. It's the 7 hours yesterday,
Mhm.
going back home, having to come back to the airport today, not being in your regular routine with how you're usually in an NBA city to take on that team with your shoot around and everything. It's a lot.
I have your weird defensive numbers. You've been waiting for.
Thank you. I've been waiting like 45 minutes.
So we all think the Kings are a joke defensively. They have been for a long time, although they have shown better stretches this year under Mike Brown. So not a great defensive team, but they're in like the low 20s as a defensive rating.
Okay.
But when you look at it, first half of games versus second half of games, it's pretty crazy.
Should I guess which one's good and which one's
Yeah.
bad?
Which one do you think's good and bad?
Okay. I'm going to guess the bad is to start the game. The good is the end of the game.
Okay. Well, you are absolutely correct.
Oh,
The first half of games, the Kings ranked 25th in defensive rating. In the second half of games, they rank 13th. You want to know where they rank in the fourth quarter?
yeah. Oh, don't tell me it's that good.
9th.
A top 10?
Yes, and I know a couple people who were asking me about, okay, but what about their offense? Does that mean their offense is bad in the second half? In the first half of games, I mentioned 25th in defensive rating.
Yeah.
They're 8th in offensive rating in
Okay.
the first half. In the second half, they're 13th in defensive rating, and second in offensive rating.
So their offense just gets better as their defense gets better.
In the fourth quarter, when they're 9th in defensive rating,
Don't say it.
second in
Okay.
offensive rating. It feels like this team is like they're close. They're close. You string together just a few more minutes of good defense, then they can maybe be better than we think down the stretch in the final 25 games. They just have to be. And look, I understand like all the pushback I get from people is like, well, they've been really healthy. Their starting five has played the most minutes of any starting five in the NBA. They are getting ready to play a really tough schedule. I believe it's the second most difficult schedule in the NBA based on strength of schedule. But when you look at those numbers, I don't know, they're kind of encouraging in a way. It's like, I don't know. I'm not trying to make it this simple, but like, hey, come out a little better.
It's fine to simplify the numbers like that and to break it down and be like, yeah, start the game a little bit more engaged, would you? Because it shows that when you play good defense, you have good offense come from that. Or, I mean, just maybe even it's just an energy thing. Like when you're just playing well defensively because it takes so much effort, it helps with the way that you're playing offensively, or it helps with the way that you are making sure a team's not getting second chance opportunities. The Kings average the second fewest blocks per game and the 10th fewest steals, right? So you look at the way that they're still not being aggressive enough with their perimeter pressure, but also they don't have all the bigs and the length in the world when it comes to middle. That's why Mike Brown makes sure that whenever someone's trying to go middle, push out of middle, keep out of middle, because you want to keep guys out of there when you are lacking that size, that girth. So for the Kings, this is, when you look at this too, it's a roster adjustment. It's not just a, hey, stay engaged, come out stronger.
But part of it is stay engaged,
Sure.
right? Like some of the stuff you're talking about is engagement. Now, there are going to be some times where they just get beat because of their size, but Anthony Slater wrote a piece in The Athletic just touching on some of the things you just talked about a bit. Mike Brown was talking about the pick and roll defense being the most crucial element for the Kings, talking about how it has to be on point. He says, yeah, the size is an issue sometimes. He says, if your backside is 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", instead of 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", then those tags have to be early and they have to be higher. When that happens, it causes a chain reaction. On the ball, our pressure has to be on point, getting over the screens. Our bigs have to be up to touch these guys so they aren't getting ahead of steam downhill, because we don't want to have a 7-footer at the rim. We don't have a 7-footer at the rim to block shots. That means the protection from the vertical threat rolling has to be on point. Our rotations out of it have to be on point.
And what I love about Mike Brown breaking this down, what he's talking about, things being on point, it's the fundamentals needing to be on point. It's the footwork. It's the ability to recognize where you are at on the floor and where you need to be. You know, I mean, you look at, we were talking about Davion Mitchell and just his screen navigation and how it's like elite, and his one-on-one defense is elite. If everyone on this team and on a lot of teams had that type of screen navigation, it would make the world of a difference. This team defense, I wouldn't even be talking about roster construction, because those little tweaks in having individuals have that elite type of defensive skills, yes, would make this team even better in the beginning of games.
Now we just need to see Davion navigate the shot into the hoop, like just into the basket, right?
God, yep.
I think the time off could be good for him. No, I'm serious. Like he was in a major funk shooting.
Yeah.
I mean, if they can get just more production out of him, I think it goes a long way for this team, because it's just when you get to a point where you don't feel like you could play him because he's a zero offensively, that's tough because of what he can provide defensively.
It's tough too, because he has such an elite skill, like you're saying, with his defense, and not being able to bring it all out of him. It's going to be tough to see him go somewhere else possibly and figure it out, right? And obviously that's going to come too because of situation and maturity, age, all of those things are going to come together. But he has all of the things you want in a player when it comes to mentality, when it comes to his effort, his defense, and his ability to cross guys up and go by them. But then he lacks size, and right now he's lacking a little bit of confidence and just believing in himself and his ability to do so much more on the offensive end. And that's what Mike Brown probably wants to see, just him believing in himself and like, go.
Well, they're going to have to be locked in. The Kings, as I mentioned, have the second toughest remaining strength of schedule in the West. 10 of their remaining 25 games will come against teams who are currently a top 8 seed in the Western Conference. But you know what? They have to play the Kings too. You know?
Yeah, there we go.
No,
look at you.
They always get caught up in like the schedule's tough. It's like they have to play you. The Kings have a winning record. They have won games this year. They have, I think, in Sacramento, because of what Kings fans have gone through over the last 16 years, that there's a nervousness, there's an anxiousness, there is a belief that it could all go wrong at any point. And that's true. It can. But you also have to know where this team is at. Mm-hmm. And even through their offensive struggles a little bit before the break, still one of the best offensive teams in the league. They went from near the bottom of the NBA last year in offense to near the top this year. Yeah. It's a good team. Teams have trouble stopping this team.
And that's it. And I have that belief that this really is a good team. I felt that way when even when they were winning and losing games, but the way that they were playing games was giving me that confidence in saying that they are a good team in this league. I think every week when there's a different game and a different team, we always go, man, it's another test. It's another test, another road trip, another test. But I truly believe every single game and every single week and month for this squad is a test, because they keep showing up and telling us why, believe us, we are this. But then when there's a moment, that's when we start not believing. And if that's going to, in these last 25 games, happen a lot more where they have those moments, that is when we go, sure, they're a good team, but they need to make a lot more improvements.
First play I'm running tonight.
What?
Dribble handoff for Herter. We're getting him a shot early. I need him to get his confidence up. I need him to forget about what happened in Salt Lake City.
With that,
Let's get him going.
That's Deuce. You're asking a lot. Like, I would love to see a little dribble handoff. Boom, go get Kevin Herter a nice early, quick 3-point look.
Yeah.
Herter have more threes than Dame tonight?
Oh God. But I mean, he can also like come off that dribble handoff and just work your mid-range game right
Yeah.
away.
Dame is
Chuck
launching
it.
during the last 15 games. He's
Yeah.
launching almost 12 threes a game, averaging just, I think, 36 points a game.
Okay.
Insane. All right, coming up next, we're going to catch up with Combo. Andrew Salop's his name. He's a host of Combo's Court podcast. He's a basketball mind. He's a hooper. He's going to be joining us on the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline, Morgan. Folsom Lake Honda.
One shop. Wait, what is it?
Your one-stop
Shop,
Honda
Honda
shop.
shop.
Yeah, you got to remember the lyrics to our song.
Okay.
Your one-stop.
Stop. Okay, do it again. One stop Honda shop.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Your one stop Honda shop.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, we're going to talk about the Kings coming up. What is it going to take for them to stay in the top 6? We'll bounce around the NBA too. Plus, the G-Man Gary Gerould joins us live at 1 o'clock. It's Deuce and Mo. It's Sactown Sports. Morgan, I'm telling you, you have a voice.
Stop it. I mean, you guys, if you gave me a song, I can't sing every song. Like when I tried singing Frankie's Mom last week, wasn't a good song for my voice. It was just a good song to talk about how hot Frankie's mom is.
I want to take singing lessons.
Okay.
Just so I can like be
love
passable.
this. Love this.
Should we start an a cappella group?
No, absolutely not.
Wait, listen to this. Ba-dum, ba-dum,
Ba-dum,
ba-dum,
ba-dum,
ba-dum.
ba-dum,
I know what song I'm
ba-dum,
doing.
Do I
You
come?
go here. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum.
Ba-dum, ba-dum.
When do I start?
Now.
Ba-da-bum, bum. Ba-da-bum.
Ba-dum, bum, bum.
I'm sorry.
I forgot what it was.
Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum.
Can you write the lyrics down for me?
Ba.
No, Morgan is not drinking a carton of milk. She is taking one of my trends, which is drinking a box of water.
This is a you trend, huh?
Yeah, I started that.
Thought it was a wee trend.
Yeah. I thought we were a team.
Okay.
Can we
I need to
stop?
go to the bathroom.
Oh, man. Okay. Oh, Chris. I started thinking of a Tinkle Time song yesterday. Now I forget it. So I was in my car by myself. It's Tinkle Time. Oh, what was it? I got to write it down, but like I can't drive and write it down.
Use voice memos. Note to self.
That's
Tinkle
right.
Time song.
Had to do, and I found another word that I was going to use besides toilet, accident, tinkle, urinate. I'm so sorry to disappoint everyone. Either way, we are going to have Deuce take voice lessons this summer.
Okay.
I think it would be fun. And I was like, dude, I'm going to record your
Yes.
process
Yes.
because he's just really quick. He's so bad at singing that it's hilarious. Like I love when he does a ssong because it's just like so bad.
What's his
good.
go-to karaoke song?
Oh, like Benny and the Jets, but it's so bad. And then he started going to like Eminem. So
Okay.
yeah. Hey Deuce. Wiz, that's a good one.
The Whiz Kid. Hey, if you can, hit the thumbs up button. We should be at 175 soon.
Combo's joining us at 12, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna
He's good to go.
Oh, sorry.
love it.
I remember a conversation we were having with him when we were on his podcast in November, where he's like, "Do you think where do you think the Kings finished in the Pacific Division? Who would have thought that they'd be in the lead still at this point?"
Where do you remember where we said?
I think I was like, I changed my mind 7 times.
I remember when we said Pacific Division, I was like, oh, Western Conference? Like, I just couldn't click
We
with
don't
the
care.
division.
Divisions just don't matter in the NBA.
Mm-mm. Our guy.
Is Combo a fan of combos? And if so, what is his favorite combo?
Ooh. I think his favorite combo would be like a.
I think you guys are talking about different things.
We are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking he looks like a honey mustard guy.
See, and I was talking like handles. Oh, okay, come on.
G-Man's going to try to join us on video at 1.
Yes.
Why did you say try?
Because I guess he said last time he tried to on one of the shows and it didn't work for him.
Oh, okay.
Well, if it doesn't work, we walk out.
No, I told him the backup would be
If
the
it
phone.
doesn't work, we walk out.
We leave.
Did
It's
I
done.
stutter?
Why not like the beam? That's a good point.
John, here.
Stand by for an update. Then it's back to us.
Weirdo. What a creep.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Laud with your Sactown Sports headlines. NBA is back. The Sacramento Kings will be back in action tonight when they host the Portland Trailblazers. Kings will also have guard Malik Monk back on the floor tonight after he missed 2 games with a sprained ankle, but he told reporters Tuesday after Kings practice that he is ready to go. You can listen to tonight's game starting with game night at 5:30 and tip-off scheduled for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. Speaking of the Trailblazers, it's been a hectic 24 hours after their flight was delayed with the entire team for several hours on the tarmac. Then it was finally canceled due to a winter storm. The team rescheduled the flight for this morning to be able to play tonight against the Kings. It is 12 o'clock. Time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, who's dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men. Now more of Deuce and Mo with our guest, Combo Court Podcast.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
Morgan Reagan.
Yes.
We are in late February,
Yeah, we are.
and the Kings are playing meaningful games.
Say it again.
The Kings are playing meaningful games, and it starts tonight at Gold One for Kings and Blazers. We got to talk some more hoops with a guy that we like a lot. He's played pro ball. He's a hooper. He's the host of Combo's Court. We've been on that podcast before.
Yes, we have.
I call him Combo. His name's Andrew Salop, but we call him Combo. Combo, welcome to the show.
Woo!
Thank you so much, guys. I love the shirts. Deuce and Mo merch for Mo. And you took it back to the WCW days?
Yeah.
Wow.
Stunning Steve Austin. Yeah.
Wow,
That's great
man.
knowledge, dude.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? I mean, he wrestled for so many years where he wasn't a superstar.
Yeah.
Just really persistence, just persistence and patience. And he finally became a superstar when it was all said and done.
Yeah, it's interesting that we have what's that NBA comp? There's not really a comp for him, right? A guy that came. I mean, I was trying to think like Chauncey Billups, but Stone Cold was a mega star. He became like the best.
Right.
Yeah. I think maybe Kawhi from his college years to the Spurs years and then becoming the best player in the NBA. I guess that's somewhat of a comp, but you're right. There hasn't been anybody quite like him in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, he was in Drake's music video, and everything. So
Who's
why-
Stone Cold?
No, why?
That was a surprise when I saw the Drake's video.
It was a surprise for everyone.
Dude, the last time we talked to you, we were on your podcast, I believe in November, and we were talking about the Kings, where we think they could be. Here we are as we start the final 25 games of the season for the Kings. They're in the number 3 spot for now, but big picture, there's 7 games above 500 coming off an All-Star weekend where they had 2 guys at the All-Star game. Have you been surprised by the Kings season?
No, I mean, we talked about this. I love the moves that they made. I talked about how De'Aaron Fox had to be that guy if they wanted to win, and he's been that guy, all-star level player. I loved everything they've done since the Tyrese Halliburton trade, and I won't mention Luka Doncic. Oh, my fault, guys.
Watch your mouth.
But no, they've been great, and Mike Brown, to me, is the coach of the year. he brings a lot of what he did and what they did with the Warriors to this team with some like vintage King stuff going on as well, right? When it comes to the X's and O's. So I love everything they've been doing, and I'm not totally surprised at all.
It's so fun for us. Not only because obviously when you see those wins, it's fun that a team that has lost for so long is getting those wins, but it's the style of basketball that is being played on the court right now that just brings so much joy, so much energy. Now, do you think, Combo, that this style of basketball can keep the Kings in the top 6?
I think it can, even though their schedule is tough and the two teams right behind them have gotten better, in my opinion. Some would say the Clippers have not. I think they have. And then obviously when you add Kevin Durant to the Suns, they have got better as well. Sacrifice a little bit of depth. The Mavericks are right there as well. I think they're going to be a dynamic duo, even though they lack some defense and depth right now. I think they can stay in the playoffs. I think they'll land maybe between the 4th and the 6th seed, somewhere in there, but they do have a tough schedule, and I think they will get it done. I actually have a bet with my co-host in the Believe in Magic podcast that if it's a dinner, if the Kings make the playoffs, I get dinner. If they're out the play-ins, and that's not going to happen, I owe him dinner, and play-ins a push. So I think I'm going to get the dinner.
Ooh, I hope you get. I hope you get the dinner for all of us.
Most definitely.
You were talking about De'Aaron. You thought, he needed to be the guy this year. I'm curious, just when you watch De'Aaron this year, what's jumped out to you about the leap he has made?
Well, the leadership, first and foremost. You could tell he's being a better leader, and everything coming out of that locker room is saying so. The thing that people aren't talking about, I feel like, is his craft and skill level. I think even got to a whole new level, like his creation in the mid-range. He was always a pretty solid mid-range shooter, but he's adding some stuff to his game, some junk in his game that I just haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Junk.
It's true. It's true. I mean, just his ability to get to so many different places on the floor. And I think what I always tell Deuce is I feel like that's where different tier of players go, right? And he's showing, not yet, but he's showing that he can be that different tier player. If you're a player that can call out a spot on the floor and I'm going to go there and I'm going to get a jump shot, and even though I'm going to go there and get this jump shot, I'm still going to make it in your face. I feel like that's what separates some players in this league.
I totally agree with you. And he's a pure point guard in every sense of the word, in my opinion. And not only that, one of the fastest players in the league from end to end. And since he added that creation in the mid-range and just be able to get his own, he's just a total handful on both sides of the court.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I do feel like his defense has taken a leap. And coming out of Kentucky, I was like, this guy can be a really good defensive player, and he's been really inconsistent throughout his career. Sometimes just not playing good defense. And I don't know if it's just, hey, it's year 6, Mike Brown taking a little more pride, maturing, whatever it is. It just feels like he is competing a lot more on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Kings defense is not their strength, so they need everything they could get from him. You put out a stat today saying they get better throughout the course of the game. I love that. But, point guard, everybody thinks about rim protection when it comes to defense, but point of attack defense is so important as well, right? Especially in the playoffs. I mean, Utah had that problem for years. Gobert was a great defender down there in the paint, but point of attack defense wasn't great. So seeing De'Aaron getting better on the defensive side is just so important for the Sacramento Kings team.
It's so important because we talk about how, Mike Brown even talks about how, hey, we can be a good enough defensive team, but we need individuals to get better, to step up. And maybe even it comes to changing around the roster and making tweaks eventually to get those individuals on this squad that have elite defensive skills. You look at someone like Domas Sabonis. I know he's not necessarily your rim protector, shot blocker kind of guy, but at the same time, with his verticality and the way that he has just shown up as that second line of defense, he's been just a different type of rim protection.
Yeah, he's not the most athletic defender, even though in some ways I think he's an underrated athlete, but his IQ on defense, his feel on defense is pretty damn good in my opinion.
Yeah, what do you have you made from Sabonis this year? The Kings have him just at the 5, which I think is his natural spot. They're running stuff through him. He's kind of like a Jokic light in that regard. What has stood out to you about Sabonis?
I love the Jokic light thing because he's that hub, right? I think that's the best word for him. He's a hub. He's like that second point guard. He's that point forward that they really needed, because I think you need 1 or 2 or 3 guys initiating offense in the modern NBA. And just the way he could set screens, handoffs, initiate offense, it's been phenomenal. I think he even added more of that since his days with the Pacers.
So Keegan Murray has had his ups and downs this year. I would say more ups, just looking at his role on this squad. What have you seen from the rookie Keegan Murray?
I think, he's had his challenges as a young player. I love the shot making. I love his ability to play both sides of the floor. And I think at the very least, he's going to be a winning playoff player, right? He could plug and play. He could play with great players. He's a great fit there. He's a guy that could fit around star players, but also has some star potential himself.
All right. We've seen you alluded to some of these moves in the Western Conference with KD. The Clippers have made a lot of moves to kind of reshape their team. Who do you think's the best team in the West? Like who do you think right now is kind of the favorite?
I like Denver, man. I really like Denver. But I have to say, I'm going to go with the Clippers. I'm going to go with the Clippers because I had the preseason.
Yeah.
And they made all these moves. They made some great moves outside of Westbrook. I mean, I thought Eric Gordon should have been on another LA team for years. I don't know why he was in Houston for that long. He's a great pickup for them. He could defend. He could shoot the 3. We'll see. He might have aged a little bit. We got to see how he plays with competitive playoff basketball. I wish he would have had a move to a contender a little bit earlier on in his career, but he is a great fit there. I think the Russell Westbrook thing is actually going to work. I think it wasn't a great fit with LeBron. I think, Kawhi and Paul George are obviously going to initiate offense, but I do think it's a better fit with Russ. And, he's still a 18, 6-6 around their guy. I think he's going to throw them. I think he's going to give the Clippers a different look in terms of mentality and play. He has that alpha dog mentality, which I don't know if anybody quite has that on the Clippers outside of Kawhi. I mean, PG, I think he's one of the most underrated players ever, in my opinion, but he doesn't really have that alpha mentality. So he brings that. And not only that, I think he could push in transition. And that's something they don't have at this point as well.
And I was listening to your Monday's podcast with your guy talking about the Clippers, and something that was brought up too was how Paul George had one of his best years with Russell Westbrook by his side, right? So will he be able to bring that side out of him again? I also heard you guys talking about Russell Westbrook as a teammate in the locker room, and that a lot of that chatter just seems to be maybe from the media.
Yeah, I think that's true because, look, PG obviously loved him. He wanted this trade to happen, and it's probably a big reason it did happen. Kawhi had to sign off. Not only that, they loved him in Washington, right? So they love him in a lot of places. He was a fan favorite at OKC, and he lasted there for years. He's a future Hall of Famer. People tend to like playing with Westbrook. It didn't seem to work out with LA, but he has a good track record with other teams.
I would say this too with Russ. Like, when you get bought out, now he's a different player, right?
Sure.
Like, he's not making that 40-something million from the Clippers, whatever that crazy amount was. I mean, I don't even know what his official contract is with the Clippers. This is kind of a pivotal time. Like, people have dragged his name through the mud.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has always had a chip on his shoulder. That's just kind of how he plays the game. But I think that chip's only gotten bigger because of how he's been talked about. And I feel like he was blamed so much for what was going wrong with the Lakers when it really wasn't just him. It was the roster construction, putting him in an environment where he feels wanted, that feels empowered, and he probably knows what's on the line for his future. I think he can be really impactful for the team.
Yeah, and I think people forget he had some really nice stretches with the Lakers in his new role this season off the bench. He was putting up some good numbers. Obviously, the defense isn't great, and we know the efficiency isn't great, but he brings a different kind of mentality. He could push pace. He's great at finding shooters. I mean, there are still a lot of things that Russell Westbrook brings to the table. Not only that, I think coaching fit is so important. You guys play a team today with Cam Reddish, who I knew before he went to the Knicks was not going to be a good fit with Thibodeau. Like, he's not that go hard type player. He's a good two-way player who needs an opportunity, but he's not that go-hard type guy, right? He's kind of like, he got that laid-back kind of game. Like PG-13 has that game, and I think he's one of the most underrated players ever. So I think this fit between Ty Lue and Russell Westbrook is great because Ty Lue is one of the best guys when it comes to adjustments and lineups, especially in the playoffs. I think it's a great coaching fit. We often talk about player fit between each other, but sometimes we have to talk about coaching and player fit.
It's so true. I talk about that a lot. And I think sometimes when you look at situations, it's not something that people factor in enough when they look at teams and individuals. But you mentioned the Nuggets. You mentioned the Clippers. You didn't mention the Suns. You don't believe in them?
Ooh.
It's going to be tough to get it all together in this amount of games. I do believe in the move because when you could sign a guy like KD, you sign a guy like KD, not only to win a championship, but that's box office, man. That brings excitement to your city. It's a great investment just to have a guy like that in the building for the next 4 years. He's injured now, but he always comes back great from injuries. Do I think they're the title favorites? Probably not at this point because I do think it'll take some time to get that chemistry. Maybe I'm wrong because CP3 is one of the greatest game managers and point guards we've ever seen. So we will see. We will see.
Yeah. I think taking pressure off Chris Paul helps too, right? Like,
yeah.
Late in the year, man, there's sometimes you're just like, is this guy going to make it through? Like he's broken down a little bit. They rely on him so much. And I don't know how much he has left in the tank to give that type of level, right? Well, now you got KD and Booker. That's pretty nasty.
Yeah, I mean, on paper it looks great, but I think we've seen over the years that the teams that are really succeeding in this league have built culture, have built through the draft, have built through free agency, like the Warriors. And I think this era has almost been, for some teams, a name-chasing era. If you think about the Nets, they've been name-chasing for like 10 years, right?
Oh, my God.
Kevin Garnett,
that was
Paul
such a bad
Pierce,
trade.
Joe Johnson, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant, with no culture. And I think teams will start moving away from that. The Suns have a new governor, so I think he wanted to make a splash, and he didn't care about all that. And I do think it was a right move because, KD is one of the 1 or 2 best players in the league when he's healthy.
I agree. And I think when it comes down to KD, like we were talking about that when it was a possibility that KD could be finding a new home. It's like anyone would do almost anything for him, right? And you really quick mentioned the Warriors. Charles Barkley said the Warriors are cooked. Do you agree with him?
It's looking bad right now. Cooked, no, because their ceiling is basically higher than any other team in the NBA when they're hitting on all cylinders, and they still have their core. They still have Jordan Poole, who they signed to a long-term extension. They got GP2 back. Not sure when he's playing, but he was big for them last season. A lot of it obviously depends on Steph Curry's health because he got a lot going on. He got all these injuries going on, and we need to see him back if they want to win. But I think they definitely have a chance because they have the highest ceiling, in my opinion. Will they get to that? We will see.
The thing with them, like you just think of what they got last year out of their others, right? They had some vets on that team that helped them. GP2, one of them, of course, Otto Porter, Bielitsa. And I think they thought this year they're going to be able to get more out of Kuminga on a consistent basis, maybe something out of Moses Moody. But like
even Wiseman, right?
Yeah, Wiseman, right? That's the other guy. He's not even on the team anymore. So I think that was a miscalculation by them, and I also don't know that the Warriors have the patience to do this whole like, hey, we got to win a championship, but we also have to develop at the same time. It's a tough balance to strike when you're trying to win championships.
They're playing with 2 timelines, which is really tough.
Yeah.
So they're trying to win championships while developing young players. And that's a crazy challenge. The thing is, they actually got that done last year. So kudos to them, but it might have caught up to them this season.
Man.
So we're coming off of an interesting weekend in the NBA.
Oh, it was hideous is what you meant to say.
Well,
it was an ugly All-Star weekend.
I could just say that. Ugly All-Star weekend. And Deuce and I, over the last couple of days or yesterday, whatever the hell day it is, we were trying to come up with ideas because we don't know what the NBA needs to do to make these players want to play a game or make it at least something where the fans are entertained. Do you have any all-star ideas?
1-on-1. Bring it back to the essence.
That's what
Play
you said.
1-on-1, man. Play
I
1-on-1.
thought about that, but man, like, but I don't want to play 1-on-1 like it was Brown and Tatum, where it's like they're going 60%. Like, if you're gonna play, like, play. Let's get after it.
Yeah, I think that needs to be an event, and I don't even think it has to be the All-Stars, but I just think that would be a great event. Like, somebody got to set the tone. That's what it is. Somebody got to go out there, play hard, make everybody push themselves. I mean, Tatum had his 50 points, but he really wasn't pushing everybody else in the process. Man, that game was tough to watch. There's no way around it. I mean, I think the 3-point contest was great. I mean, Kevin Herter.
Oh, was it? You like that?
That's a whole other story.
What happened? Why was he so bad? Combo that he's shooting a career high from 3, and he had one of the lowest totals in history.
I would have just said after the contest, "Hey, I'm a game shooter. I'm a game shooter."
Yeah, no, true. But I was making the point. I said, you know what? They need to change the 3-point shootout. I don't want racks. I want them catching passes. However they want to take it, go ahead. Dribble handoffs, cool. Passes. You don't shoot like that. You don't grab a ball and shoot like that during a game.
I think Deuce is just saying this because he's obviously a Kevin Herter fan.
Yeah, right. But
yeah.
I don't know.
So if Kevin Herter would have won, he wouldn't have had this recommendation.
Oh no, the racks are awesome. It's a classic feature that you have to adjust to. You guys got to check out Combo's Core. I know you're grinding, doing content left and right. If you're a basketball fan, Combo does amazing stuff. We appreciate you. Do you have another podcast coming out soon? I know you just did the one on the Clippers.
Maybe this if you send me the audio.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a good idea.
I like it.
Double dip. Yeah, I could send you the audio later.
Okay, sounds great.
I appreciate you hopping on with us, and let's do it again soon, man.
Oh, man, it's always great talking to the most dynamic duo in sports media.
Oh, look at that.
We're going to clip that, too.
Yeah, he's our advocate. He's been hired as our advocate. Combo, appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Anytime. Talk soon.
Thanks. He's a man.
I love his voice, too. Love his voice. I love that you can just throw anything at him, and he is just basketball mind.
What about my
break
voice?
It down. So anyway, I love Combo's voice.
You think he has a better voice than me?
Why don't you sing Mary Had a Little Lamb?
No. We're not talking about singing. We're just talking about just pure on pipes.
I
mean, I'll say he sounds cooler, but do you think he's got a better voice?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, he definitely sounds cooler.
Chris,
you just said it.
Does he have a better voice than me?
Well, he's still on listening, so
good.
I think you guys both have fantastic voices.
You're such a coward.
I love it.
You're such a coward.
No, you, my friend, need to work on your voice.
He thinks the Kings will stay in the top 6.
Okay.
I put a poll question out on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. Call your shot. Will the Kings make the playoffs? The options were yes, they will stay in the top 6. Nope, play in. And the last option was lottery team. 88% of the people who have voted thus far say yes, they will stay in the top 6.
Wow.
Look at the confidence in Sacramento for the people watching our show on YouTube.
Hey, let's see what happens tonight. If the Kings lose, do the same poll.
Okay. You're right. You're right. It'll be like 50-47.
The freak out will be for real.
Would you be concerned if they lost tonight? Or are you like, okay, now you got to bounce back?
No, I'm just tonight, if they lost, it would be just like, I'm disappointed, dude. How do you not show up? Like, after everything that they've been through, even if Dame starts knocking them down from half court, you throw a blitz at him. You stop it. Do what you need to do. Change things up.
Yeah, I mean, outside of Dame, without Simons tonight, Jeremy Grant is supposed to be back after having a concussion issue, which is huge.
Yeah.
But, like, who scares you on that team?
I know. I don't.
This cannot be a Cam Reddish 27-point game.
It could be.
Also, guys,
yeah,
Blazers aren't here yet.
What do you mean? What's the update? What's the update?
So this is first I saw from Jason Ross. He said, Blazers still haven't left Portland. Then I saw Jason Anderson. He tweeted out, hearing the Trailblazers have just boarded their plane in Portland. They're going to de-ice and hope to be off the ground in the next 45 minutes. Flight time is about 90 minutes.
Okay.
I said 90 minutes.
Question.
Yeah.
What's up with Jason Ross knowing so much about the Blazers and their flight? Who's his source of the Blazers?
That was Jason Anderson.
I understand. He just said Jason Ross, too, who has been tweeting about this same thing.
Well, they had the play-by-play voice on today of the Blazers.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Was that early?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I didn't know.
Wow.
So if they just boarded 13 minutes ago, they're going to de-ice and hope to be off the ground in the next 45 minutes. So
7
that would
hours
be
later.
at 1 o'clock. They would be leaving. The flight is 90 minutes. That means landing at 3:30. Landing at 3:30.
That's crazy.
They're getting to the hotel.
Yeah.
That's if everything goes as planned.
Dude, it's like 5 o'clock.
It's cutting it close.
That is super close.
I mean, I was joking earlier, like,
Yeah.
oh, they might just be running on the court.
Forfeit.
Oh my
Forfeit.
God.
Forfeit.
Forfeit now.
Light the beam now. Done.
Oh my. Well, in Deuce, I know you said like, oh, who else do you have to worry about? I know that I'm not acting like, oh, you have to really worry. But Matisse Thybulle is someone who can like slow down your offense and then was starting to show some flashes of his own offense.
Because he had one game, one of his games where he knocked down shots.
Yeah.
If Matisse Thybulle scores over 17 points,
What are you gonna do?
then
What are you gonna do?
the Kings are done.
Okay. Not gonna shave your head?
All right, we'll talk more about this. Coming up at 1, the icon, the legend, the GOAT, Gary Gerould will be with us live. Kings and Blazers, hopefully tonight. Talk more about it coming up next on Sactown Sports.
The most dynamic duo in sports media.
Damn right. Dude,
That voice, yes.
this is crazy.
I would love to see.
Sacramento weather is brought to you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yup.
I guess we should, you know what we should do?
What?
Because some people are like, well, the game's at 7. Why is that crazy? We got to go over kind of like what a timeline is before a
Yes.
game.
Because and it's not like, oh, it's not even just about a pregame nap, you guys. It's a routine that goes down. Oh, I mean, you even think about them bringing in bags into the arena. Like,
Yes, there's all of that
there's a
stuff.
process. Let's get down to business to defeat the Huns.
Yeah.
You're so nice.
What's up, combo? All right, I'm emailing you his email right now.
What's up, chat?
Hey, chat, hit that thumbs up, you son of a guns.
Patrick says, I hope Shaden Sharp and Jeremy Grant don't go off.
Oh, that's a good candidate. Shane Sharp's athleticism. That's the one other thing with Portland. They have been bad defensively. Like they are. The Spurs have been really bad defensively this year. During this last 15 games, the Blazers are worse than the Spurs defensively. It's been rough.
Wow.
And they're 8. I think they're 7-9 during that stretch.
Rory says, I'm supposed to go to the game tonight, but I don't want to leave Lafayette until they got the wheels up in Portland.
I mean, maybe, the Kings can just like, if the game's not, they can just hang out and
Have like a fan fest.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I'd be like, go home.
If the
chill.
Blazers aren't coming out tonight, then I'm calling out anyone in this building. It's an open challenge. Kings against any 5 in this building. Looking around.
And that's when the Trailblazers show up.
The shatter. Yeah. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Oh my God. Oh, it's Dame Lillard. That son of a.
He's just walking in, pointing at his wrist.
Dame is literally like the person I would just want to hang out with for a day. Because, like, first
Yes.
off, he's from this area, which is cool.
Yeah.
This area, he's from Oakland. That's not Sacramento.
Northern California.
Okay.
Yeah. I consider Oakland and Sacramento closer than Sacramento and San Francisco.
Isn't that true?
No.
I think both
not.
cities hate San Francisco
What? Why do you want to hate San Francisco?
because they think they're better than us.
And because they're
No one
just
even
rich
lives there
now.
anymore. Who lives there anymore?
Exactly.
Rich
It's like a
people.
ghost town.
Annoying rich people.
But he's also a wrestling fan, which is cool.
Yeah, he is.
Like, hey, what's your favorite Attitude era moment.
Love it.
What if Rodgers says, imagine if the game gets pushed back to 8:30 tonight?
No.
The Kings, and that's the thing. The Kings play tomorrow night in LA at 7:30. So, like, I think there would be a chance they could push it back a little bit if they were nice, but not by much. I don't know.
What was that?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I didn't hear anything, Morgan.
Oh, pigeon. Got it. Yeah, I don't. Late games, barf. Adam Silver's like, I have enough on my plate today. I would love to get paid $10 million a year for these problems. What should we do to make the game better at All-Star Weekend? There's a frosty plane with the team on it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they postpone and stuff, but Eric randomly says, who remembers when the Kings had Greg Ostertag?
Who could forget?
I do.
Oster suck.
Okay.
I said that when I was little. And then when he was on the Kings, I remember being like,
No, that's what he used to do when he.
It's like, is there something on my face?
Where are we at thumbs up wise, Morgan? 184? We need to be at 200, especially before G-Man comes on in a half hour.
Show G-Man some love.
Don't embarrass us in front of G-Man.
Yeah.
God, I love that man. I love G-Man.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlod with your Sactown Sports headlines. The NBA is back, and the Sacramento Kings are back in action tonight. Maybe. They're supposed to host the Portland Trail Blazers. Kings will have guard Malik Monk back on the floor tonight. He missed 2 games with a sprained ankle, but he told reporters Tuesday after Kings practice that he is ready to go. You can listen to the game starting with game night at 5:30 and tip-off scheduled for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. The Trailblazers have been having a hard time getting to Sacramento. They were on the tarmac for several hours last night until the flight was finally canceled due to a winter storm. They plan to reschedule the flight for this morning, but they are still on the ground in Portland. They are de-icing the plane and hopefully will take off within the hour. It is 12:30. More of Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
Kings Blazers? Maybe. I know Chris just had an update on his sports update. That makes sense, Deuce.
Nice.
But Sean Hyken, who covers the Blazers, just tweeted minutes ago at 12:27 that the Blazers plane to Sacramento has still not taken off from Portland. So, 90-minute flight. It's going to be challenging, Morgan.
It is.
It's going to be very challenging for this group, and I think we need to go over this a little bit. The Kings and Blazers are scheduled to tip off at 7. Well, what's it matter? If they land at 3:30, you just walk in and get your shots up and go. It's going to be a little different, right? And it's the fact that yesterday they were supposed to leave, and they were on the tarmac for 7 hours.
And then had to drive back home.
They went home, went to bed, and they're like, all right, we got to take off this morning. Here we are at 12:30 on game day with a 7 o'clock tip. They're not here. Usually when a team is in town for a game the night before, they go through a workout, a walkthrough, shoot around 11 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe eat or something, go get a nap in. They usually start arriving to the arena 3:30-ish. That's just on a typical game day. Back-to-backs are different, but on this type of thing, this is when you arrive at the arena. Well, if they're not landing until best case scenario 3:30, that means then they have to get on the bus, go to the arena. They're staying at the hotel right by the arena, which helps a little bit.
Sure.
But that's going to you're probably getting to the arena best case scenario close to what? 4:45?
I mean, that's being optimistic.
Okay.
4:45.
So maybe 5.
Yeah.
But usually when a typical game day, like they're already on the court going through their warm-ups, getting stretched out, doing individual
and think
workout.
about rushing through things. And like your
whole routine's off.
Your routine's off, but you can't, especially for players coming back from injury and or that have injuries, you cannot rush through things. I know when we look at like middle school basketball and high school, like if that were to happen to you, you just rush out there on the court, you can do things. We get that. This is a whole different type of game, not only because of the money that is being put in, but because someone could get in trouble, obviously, if something went wrong because there wasn't enough time to warm up. So yes.
Now, and just to be clear, I should my math is a little off here.
What?
Well, because if they do take off at 1, they would land here at 2:30. So it'd be closer to 4. They arrive at the arena. Either way, that's still throwing you off your routine completely. So it's gonna be tough, especially when you're on a plane for 7 hours yesterday, just chilling, waiting to leave. Like you said, going back home. They're also banged up. No Nurkic, no Simons, no Justice Winslow for this game. They're getting Jeremy Grant back. This has all the makings of Kings. Time to take care of business. This team that's coming in has everything against them. And I don't know, are they extra motivated now? Are the Blazers a little more fired up? Like, we got to rally together. You got to be locked in. The last thing you want is for them to get off to some weird, nice start, get the confidence going. They're all rallying behind the fact that they've had some travel issues and come in here and steal one. You got to win tonight.
You gave us the weird defensive numbers last hour, and you look at how the Kings start games compared to how they end games. They play much better defense toward the end of games. You, like you just said, do not want this Portland team to have any confidence to start this game, because if they get that, they're going to feed off of that type of energy, because they're going to want to feed off the rest of that energy for the rest of the game, because they're thrown off of their routine. And so they're going to have to feed off of those type of things going into this game. If Dame starts going off, you just got to make sure that you are disrupting his game enough, because they're down players as well.
And they are playing for something too. They are still in the mix of the play-in. Like, they're a half game out of the play-in.
Yeah.
They're a couple of games out of the 6th spot right now. So these games are important for everybody. And you're right. Like, they get going. It's a team that can get hot offensively, and then you could be in trouble. I think it takes a hit, obviously, with Simons being out. But if you look at what Dame was doing before the break, his last 15 games, pretty absurd. 36.7 points a game on 50% shooting, 39% from 3, 95% from the free throw line, 7.7 assists, 5.1 rebounds. Now, it should be noted that the 15 of 19 games before the break for Portland, they were on the home floor.
Wow.
So they got a lot of home games that they just played. Their offense was clicking. Their defense has been abysmal.
Yeah. And so if their defense, like we've seen before, and they barely have that big presence even going into tonight. So you look at that and you got to just attack. Do not settle for those outside shots, especially if those outside shots aren't falling. And let's say that outside shots do start to fall. Still, do not settle. Make sure that you're mixing it up, playing your entire game, attacking the paint, getting those paint touches. That is when you see the Kings just playing their best, when they're just playing their style of basketball, which is getting those paint touches. And then obviously on the defensive end, this is the time of the season in these last 25 games that you need to take on a good offensive team and find ways to crush, to stop them, to make their lives harder, because it's just going to get harder and harder with some of these other teams you're about to face offensively.
So we're going to have G-Man at the top of the hour. One of the things we're going to ask him is some of the travel woes. I was just trying to look it up. I don't remember the exact time. Of course, during G-Man's 38 years, he's seen many weird travel days. There's one game I remember that might have been 2007-ish, where the Kings were scheduled to take on the Nuggets, and they had major plane issues where they had to like land in the Colorado Springs and then drive into Denver before the game. And the Kings went there and won that game.
No.
Yeah.
See, it happens. It happens. And sometimes being out of your routine, you find other ways to gain that energy, to be inspired. And when you have someone like Dame, you just don't want to see that happen early for them.
I just want to check it because I if I'm not mistaken, was that Allen Iverson's debut with the Denver Nuggets?
Really?
I could just be making all this up too. None of this actually happened.
This is what happens
when the basketball mind gets going sometimes and just starts searching for things, and you go, was that the game in December? Because I remember the Kings going there and spoiling it.
Wait, what year was this?
This was 2006-07. The Kings won 101-96. John Summons, I thought, had a big game. Yeah, he had 21 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists, a triple-double. It was Allen Iverson's debut. Yeah, he came off the bench at 22 and 10. That might have been the game that they had the delay. There's got to be one Kings fan out there who remembers what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
if you don't, you're cash.
Okay, well then I'm a cash. I sure as hell don't remember that.
I don't even remember Iverson on the Nuggets.
Who is on my level?
Your level is very weird. It's very like something's going on up there.
Yeah, okay. All right. We got to break down. We'll talk more about this game coming up. Plus, G-Man joins us at 1. We stay live during commercials at youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. It's Deuce and Mo. Let's see. 2006.
Really
2006. Weird. Kings, Nuggets, Iverson debut. Let's see if that was the game. I could be messing it up too, but there was definitely a game where the Kings had travel issues in Denver. Yep, that was it.
Wow.
Rough weather in Denver put the Kings into travel bind. They arrived at the Pepsi Center 90 minutes before tip-off, about the same time Allen Iverson arrived at the arena. Eric Musselman was the coach at the time. He said, "We will never have a worse travel day than that day, but our energy and effort was phenomenal."
See? There's sometimes...
See? We're talking about that coming up.
If you have a team...
Basketball mind.
That's what we're talking about. Not the actual situation that went down. We're talking about Deuce and his basketball mind. I'm so excited for this segment. So excited. That's funny. Kings need a 10-point lead by the first quarter. No horsing around. I mean, we'd like that. Eric wants to know, who remembers when the Kings had Spud Webb?
Of course. I was really young, but yeah.
Lunch Morgan. Yes. Trevor says Meta World Peace Days. Yes, but I believe he was still Ron Artest at the time.
Ron Artest was not on the King. Wait, he was on the Kings. Yeah, he was. My bad.
It was Ron Artest too.
Yes. I do remember a game in 2006 from the Kings.
There's so many people that say he's the nicest guy. I don't know him. I don't know him. I love that Deuce's math was off by an hour and a half.
I was off by an hour.
An hour, sorry. What? Wow.
You're going to get on me for that and not acknowledge the fact that I remember the Kings. I think it was 2006. John Thomas had a big, celebrate that.
We did. We already did. But now you're making us celebrate it for another 10 minutes coming up. And I'm fine with that.
I'm not sure there is a person in the world who remembers that game. Off top of the dome.
I bet G-Man does.
Yes.
G-Man will remember it, but you'll have to jog his memory.
I believe I heard Jason talking about it.
Today?
Not today, but
you know what? He
did say it today.
Jason is the other guy who would know that. Yeah.
He's on your level.
I mean, he's not on.
Not on the level. Close there.
Yeah, for sure.
Mark Jones tweeted out, "Don't sleep on Portland's late arrival of Sacramento. Last year, the Kings plane had a mechanical issue after playing the Pelicans. Kings didn't arrive in San Antonio until 1 p.m. game day. And on the second night of a back-to-back,
I do remember that.
beat the Spurs. Don't go for the pump fake. Ooh, Mark Jones.
I will say my 06-07 one's a little better of a story. But yeah. You arrived 90 minutes before the game. And by the way,
why are you yelling at me?
because I want you to know this. The Kings did that.
Yeah.
That was on the second night of a back-to-back.
Chris Watkins says, Jason mentioned it this morning.
He probably didn't have all the nuggets like I did. Pun
I
intended.
could 100% guarantee he didn't know that it was Allen Iverson's.
He did not. No, he's like, I think there was a game against Denver. Like, didn't they? Like, there was one year. He wasn't like, hey, that was 06. Iverson's debut, John Salmon's triple-double.
So you're the best and he's not.
He's the worst.
Thank you.
He's the worst. Makes him the worst.
Chris, am I allowed?
Just which thing are you going to say?
And to which Chris?
Watkins.
Okay, go
What are you-
ahead.
yeah. What are you going to
Full
say?
board.
Can I?
Yes.
I can't.
Okay. Would it get you fired? Oh, yeah. He's saying it.
Live and local.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Watch the show now on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140 or listen for free on the Sactown Sports app.
Hey, don't sleep. Don't sleep on the Blazers.
They're the
Don't.
most dynamic duo in sports media.
Deuce Mason, Morgan, Reagan.
Love it.
Live with you Monday through Friday from 11 to 2. And coming up in just a little bit, we're going to catch up with the G-Man, Gary Gerould. Travel issues in the NBA do happen, and the Kings had one last year. Mark Jones was just tweeting about it. Last year, they arrived on a game day, second night of a back-to-back in San Antonio, and they went and got the win, which is big-time stuff. But the game, I was like, hey, what is that game? I found it. This happened to the Kings. 2006-07 season.
Mm-hmm.
They had major travel issues. I believe they had to land in Colorado Springs and bus in to get to Denver. They arrived in Denver 90 minutes before the game. It was also Allen Iverson's debut with the Nuggets. The Kings went and got a win behind John Salmons, who had a trip dub in the game. Pretty crazy stuff. So the point is, you know what? Sometimes it could be like a rally thing. Like, you know, sometimes we have shows where we're really tired and sometimes we want to kill each other. But other times we're like, we got this, right?
Yeah.
Let's go. And then you have like one of your best shows. And you're like, oh, man, see, we can do this. It's the same thing. So
Same
with that
exact.
said, Kings, don't come in all cash like, oh, this team's tired. Let's just walk through this. Be ready.
Hey, what was more surprising or inspiring about that day? That John Salmons had a triple-double or that they actually played coming in only 90 minutes before the game?
Well, we should also note it was the second night of a back-to-back for them, too.
Wow.
They had played the night before against the Wizards. People are telling me Jason Ross mentioned this on the morning show today.
You're going to crap on
Did
J.
he
Ross?
mention that? Did he mention it was the second night of a back-to-back?
Sorry, J. Ross.
He probably
Thank
didn't,
you,
right?
Daddy Deuce.
Thank you.
Do it one more time.
Thank you, Daddy Deuce.
I'm looking at the Kings starting lineup that night. John Salmons, Kevin Martin, Mike Bibby, Brad Miller, and Kenny Thomas.
No.
Is K9 doing the pregame?
I don't know. Let me check actually right here.
Does K9 remember it?
Kenny
There's
absolutely does not remember that.
Kenny only remembers things that he did well, and then sometimes he even has a bad memory of it. For example, Kyle and Kenny were talking about Madison Square Garden. He was talking about on the pregame show one time. He was like, "Yeah, I had some of my best games at Madison Square Garden." Kyle's like, "Really, producer? Check those numbers." Post game, they check. They were trash numbers. He had trash numbers at Madison Square Garden.
I don't know how Kenny could forget his performance in that game.
Oh, what'd he do?
2 points, 1 assist, 1 rebound in 10 minutes and 45 seconds.
Oh,
Sharif Abdur-Rahim came off the bench, gave him 11.7 rebounds. Actually, the big numbers that night, John Salmons had 21 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. Brad Miller, 21 points, 14 rebounds.
It's Kyle and Kenny tonight too, by the way. So I'll drop that little nugget to producer.
We should also note the Nuggets were shorthanded in that game too. Carmelo Anthony was suspended.
Oh,
So was J.R. Smith, who was on the team. Iverson came off the bench in his debut, played almost 40 minutes at 22 points, 10 assists on 9 of 15 shooting off the bench. Their starting lineup that night. Oh my God. Earl Boykins, who gave the Kings 25-9 that night. 5'6" Earl Boink. Was he 5'6"? He's 5'6", right?
Listed at 5'6".
Yeah. 25 points, 9 assists, 3 steals. Nene was in the lineup.
5'5".
Diawara, I don't even know if I'm saying it right. He was in the lineup, went 0 for 7 from 3. Eduardo Nahara started for them. Remember Nahara with the Mavs? Ugh. And Linus Kleza, who I liked, who actually hit a game winner against the Kings in Sacramento once, and I pissed me off.
Your memory and how you retain things is on another level, though.
Thank you.
I'm not even complimenting you.
That's all I wanted from you.
I know.
That's all I wanted for you to give me a little love.
But I know, see, that's the thing. I always give you love for, and I don't even mean to give you love. I'm actually just impressed. And so I'm like, wow, that is a skill that I wish I had. I don't retain things well. I can barely read something and retain things. That's why I've turned to audiobooks. So it helps me even go through a story faster.
Yeah.
Thank you, Daddy Deuce.
Yeah, exactly. I'll never say that.
Well, we'll keep you updated on the Blazers and their travel. See if they actually take off anytime soon. Morgan Reagan.
Yeah.
We do have an update on Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, is he out of the hole?
He's out of the hole.
Yeah.
Scott Berman, who owns Sky Cave Retreat, said Rodgers left the dark room and the facility on Wednesday. According to Berman, the 300 square foot room in which Rodgers spent his time in is partially an underground structure.
Yeah.
With no light. It has a queen bed, a bathroom, and a meditation-like mat. What's a meditation-like mat?
So like a yoga mat?
Yeah. So
like, why wouldn't you just call it a yoga mat?
It is fully powered, and the lights can be turned on from inside the room. See, that doesn't count.
It's
I'm
not.
sorry.
So I'm looking at the website because you said Sky Cave Retreats. Beautiful, by the way, just absolutely beautiful.
He turned on the light. He made it sound like he was going in a cave.
Well,
there's a way to turn on a light.
Yeah,
that's what. It's the same thing with escape rooms. People are like, an escape room. Am I going to be able to get out? And then like they tell you, hey, by the way, if you want to get out, you could just turn the handle and walk out.
Legally, you have to do that in an escape room. Okay.
If I had an escape room. No, I'm not.
Again,
I'm not.
It wouldn't be up and running.
No, I am not. I'm not verbally saying it. It'll be in the fine print, and the font will be 3. So you have to like take a magnifying glass.
Yeah, which I also believe is illegal. If it's not like.
Oh yeah, it's. Listen to some of these commercials. There'll be a car commercial. I'll be like,
you can diarrhea and die of puking so much and die
from buying a car.
Yeah.
No, that's not what happens. But they put all these disclaimers.
I mean,
it could happen. Really quick though, the Sky Cave Retreats. I still couldn't do that for 4 days. I still could not do that for 4 days.
How do you do it? A queen bed, a meditation mat, a really trendy room that has lights. Easy. You
could do that.
Yeah,
4 days.
I honestly
no electronics.
I honestly thought he was like. I just imagined him climbing down this old rickety wooden ladder into this hole.
Really?
And then they like each day with like a pulley system, they drop a plate of food. And
here's your mush, Rodgers.
Yes, yeah.
I thought it was like one of those doors that they close and then lock and they put the food in the tray.
On the tray. Yeah.
You guys,
like
he wasn't going to prison. He was literally spending lots of money to go stay in a dark place that is not a hole. Oh, look, there's your ladder going down to a hole, though.
That's weird.
There's one room like that. So, yeah, either way, good for him. I hope a lot of great things happen to his brain and he realized how stupid he is half the time. That'd be great.
Well, he's also trying to figure out if he's going to keep playing in the NFL. He's 39 years old. It's crazy to think he's 39.
I mean, it's old in athlete world.
I think if you have to go to a hole to go like figure out if you want to play football, maybe you just don't want it anymore. It's okay. Like you had a good run, man.
Yeah, but I think some other things that people aren't factoring in, which I think this is hilarious. I didn't even know this, but it's, him and his Hollywood fiance, they broke up. They broke things off at not, however many months ago. And so like he's probably going through a lot of different things, not only on the football field, but off the field as well. I don't feel for him. Like
you're just trying to add some context. I get it.
Yeah.
Coming up at 1, we're gonna have G-Man on. There's so many things we got to ask him about. One, we got to ask him about this weird travel day for Portland, but also yesterday, someone who's very vital in getting the Kings to come to Sacramento from Kansas City passed away. His name was Greg Van Dusen. He passed away yesterday.
Yeah.
And G-Man knew him quite well. In fact, Van Dusen was instrumental in a lot of things, but he helped get G-Man the job as an NBA broadcaster with the Sacramento Kings in 1985.
Wild.
G-Man had never done any NBA broadcasting before that. I mean, obviously as a broadcaster. So for him to get that opportunity, we'll have him share some stories and, I don't know, give us some behind. It's good to know the history of the team too, right?
Yeah. And let's see if he remembers that game where the Kings barely got to Denver. Okay.
He's going to remember. So we'll do that coming up next. The G-Man with Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports. Senior Infirmo says it would be wild if a wild animal got loose in Aaron Rodgers.
What would you do if that happened?
Here's the thing. I'm thinking about it. If I felt something crawl on me in like complete darkness, I would lose my mind.
Yeah, I would probably die of like just being afraid.
It looks like G-Man's good to go.
Oh, go.
All right, cool.
The legendary icon. G-Man Gary Gerald joins. Sorry, guys, just tweeting out that G-Man's coming on.
And if everything went to plan, the Blazers will be taking off in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Wow.
If it went to plan.
Okay.
So that means not landing at 3:30. It'd be landing around 2:30-ish.
Boom, boom, boom. What do we got? Okay. Okay. Oh.
We're one away from 200 thumbs up. Let's get there.
Look
Hit
at
that thumbs up button. Let's go.
I agree, Roger. Ward says, what if he got attacked by a bear? What if it was Cocaine Bear?
Oh.
That.
Oh, we know Rodgers pass. What if it's Ayahuasca Bear? What would be scarier?
Oh, like the bear took
Ayahuasca.
Probably that one.
Really?
No, I think cocaine.
I think cocaine's way more.
Ayahuasca, like the bear doesn't even recognize it's a bear. You know, it's
Maybe it finally does after taking ayahuasca.
and it's like, I'm a bear. I'm not going to hurt you. Brother Bear, and it turns into Brother Bear. Have you seen that movie?
No.
Oh, that movie brings me so much joy. Has anyone seen that movie? Tell everybody
It's a kid's
I'm
movie?
on my way. It's not a kid movie. It's an animated movie. Disney.
So you're saying that Brother Bear took ayahuasca and that's how he became Brother Bear?
Yes. Yes. And it's all about the land and taking care of the animals. And it's a great.
Pocahontas?
No.
Oh,
Wow. No.
sorry. That sounds like you're describing Pocahontas.
Which is a terrible movie.
Okay. No, it's also not a terrible movie.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, there's
You support the themes in that
a
movie?
lot of movies,
Interesting.
even Disney.
Was it problematic at all?
A lot of Disney movies are problematic.
That one's very problematic.
I mean, hi, look at the waist size of all the little princesses. You think I ever had that waist? No. But you're telling me I have to have that waist to be a princess and I need a man to show me the way? No.
Especially Coco. I mean, they're just skeletons.
Skinny little bee.
That was the movie last that I cried in.
Oh my
And not just cried, like
Remember
bawled.
me. Really?
next to like a little Abuelita, and I'm just like
I bawled in that movie, but I bawled in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh,
I need to see
it's
it.
by far like my favorite movie of all time.
Really?
I mean, it's like top 3 favorite movies.
What's the other two?
Well, I always put Tommy Boy up there because it always just
Okay.
did something for me. I don't know why.
Based on a true story.
And Lion King. Tommy Boy?
That is an incredible top 3.
Right. It's I like variety.
Pulp Fiction.
Wonderful movie.
My top 3.
MacGruber.
Awful.
Amazing movie.
Awful.
Dumbo was a tearjerker.
Dumbo or Operation Dumbo Drop?
Why do I remember
Oh,
that?
Fox and the Hound. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely a laugher, huh?
If you haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, you're missing out on life. Like, it is an experience. It makes you feel all the feels, and it's based on a true story.
Hey, if the game gets canceled tonight, I'll watch it.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no way the game gets canceled, right? All right, stand by. G-Man's coming up.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlad with your Sactown Sports headlines. The NBA is back, hopefully for the Sacramento Kings. They should be in action tonight when they host the Portland Trail Blazers. Kings will also have guard Malik Monk back on the floor tonight after he missed 2 games with a sprained ankle. But he told reporters Tuesday after Kings practice that he's ready to go. You can listen to the game starting with game night at 5:30 and tip-off scheduled for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. Trail Blazers have had a hectic time trying to get out of Portland to come to Sacramento. Started last night when the team was stranded for several hours on the tarmac and the flight was finally canceled due to a winter storm. They are scheduled to leave Portland today. The Sacramento Bees' Jason Anderson said that they were hoping to de-ice and be off the ground in the next 45 minutes. That was 45 minutes ago. And flight time is about 90 minutes. So hopefully we will have Kings Blazers tonight. It is 1 o'clock, and now time for more Deuce and Mo with our guest, Gary Gerald.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
Oh, yes. Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan. Appreciate you joining us each and every day, 11 to 2, right here on Sactown Sports. I'm really excited about this. A dear friend of ours, a legend, an icon. He has been the voice of the Sacramento Kings for 38 seasons. The one and only, the G-Man, Gary Gerald. Hi, G-Man.
Hi, guys. How are you?
We're good. How are you?
Well, I'm pretty tolerable. Thank you.
Yeah. Hold on one sec. Chris, his audio sounds a little like it's cracking a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Do you think we should? Yeah, try. You are crackling a little bit. You look great. It's just crackling a bit.
You look fantastic, G-Man. Keep going. Talk to me for a second.
Well, I'm excited because hopefully the push for the playoffs really begins in earnest tonight.
That's so true. I can't wait. You know what we're gonna do here, G-Man? We're gonna have Chris call you on your phone real fast because the audio is just it looks great. The audio just keeps crackling. I want people to be able to hear you. So we'll do a phone instead if that's okay with you. Sweet. We'll get G-Man in just a second.
But his
look at him. I know
face.
his face, but I knew it was gonna happen. Everyone's like, but the audio is bad. I mean, we could hear it, but
yeah, no, you want to make sure quality audio.
Got to hear the pipes of the G-Man.
Talk about a voice.
Yeah. So I know Chris is calling him in just a second. Bucket. Yeah, but he's right. Push for the playoff starts tonight. I mean, you think about 25 games to go. Kings and Blazers, a shorthanded Blazers team that is scheduled, I guess, to take off any minute from Portland. We'll see if what time they actually get here, but that's obviously going to be a challenge for that team. And
yeah, it will be. But we also, we've seen the other side of things too, where sometimes being out of routine, you find other ways of getting energy and being inspired and find a way to win.
All right, let's go to the G-Man who's now on the phone with us. Hey, G-Man, sorry about that. Well, G-Man, yeah, you were talking about the push for the playoffs tonight. It's exciting that here we are in late February and it's legit. Like every game matters from here on out.
Yeah, and it's going to be crazy because there's going to be so much scoreboard watching. Everybody's got in the vicinity of 23 to 25 games to play. 4.5 games, as you well know, separate number 3, where Sacramento is, and number 12, where Portland is tied. And I mean, you stub your toe and you're in a world of hurt. And I don't know about you guys, but I want to be a top 6. I don't want any business of this play-in stuff because you get down to one game and anything can happen. So let's take care of some business here, Sacramento Kings. What do you think?
Oh, I am so with you. I do want to talk more about the game in a second, but something I did want to start with you. We lost someone that maybe some newer Kings fans or younger Kings fans may not be familiar with. Greg Van Dusen passed away, and reading about him in the Sacramento Bee and talking to you in the past about him, a very instrumental person in the Kings' journey to Sacramento from Kansas City, instrumental in your career in Sacramento, and then also a guy who deserves a lot of credit because he was part of really sports history. He helped orchestrate the first naming rights deal in sports when he landed Arco Arena.
So cool.
Stadiums and arenas weren't named with any sponsor tie-in. Then the first one was in Sacramento. So, G-Man, when you hear the name Greg Van Dusen, what do you think?
I think it's so many different things because he had his imprint on so many different sports venues. It was the Sacramento Solons playing at Hughes Stadium, God forbid. I mean, that was just insane. The Sacramento Gold, the soccer team, our media softball league. He worked alongside Greg Lukenbill, and of course was instrumental. He was in Kansas City when the Kings left there to come to California, and he was a huge part of my getting the opportunity to become a member of the Kings organization. And it's a story we've told many times, and I hope it's not being too redundant. But the brief version was, it was in January of 1985, and I get a phone call out of the blue, and it's Gregory Dutch Van Dusen. And he said, G-Man, I want to play What If with you for just a moment. And I'm thinking, what if what? And he said, well, okay, go ahead. And he says, what if the Kansas City Kings were to come to Sacramento? Would you be interested in being the radio play-by-play voice? And there's this moment I'm letting this register, and I'm thinking, what? Really? Are you kidding me? Of course, and the excitement began. And so that was the evolution of the early stages before anybody was really aware that there was a distinct possibility that Kansas City might move and that they might move to Sacramento, California.
That's wild. And if I remember correctly, they had you go to Oakland and sit in the stands and record yourself calling a game with your son, Bobby Gerald, by your side. And then you sent over tapes to them.
Yeah. Joe Axelson, who was the general manager, he didn't know me from Adam. He just knew that, Greg Van Dusen was saying it's important to have a local identity tied to this franchise if they move to Sacramento. And Gary Gerald would be ideal in his mind. So Joe Axelson said, well, I need a sample of his work. And so Bobby and I, my son, who was a teenager at that time, I took him out of school. We had 2 games. We went down to L.A. to play the Lakers at the old Great Western Forum, sat up there in the nosebleeds, a couple of rows up behind Chick Hearn, the legendary icon, and talked into a recorder. And Bobby was my other set of eyes and kept some, basic stats for me. And then we went to Oakland and did the same thing against the Warriors. Little did I know that those tapes then went back to Joe Axelson. And when the move was consummated and he was driving from the Midwest to California, he listened to those tapes on the drive cross country. And I remember him telling me sometime later, kid, you're a hell of a lot better than you had any right to be.
Wow.
And I thought that was pretty cool because at that time, I didn't tell them, but not only had I never done anything relating to the NBA, I hadn't done any play-by-play basketball for a period of several years prior to that. And so I was really, really fortunate that it all worked out. And here we are 38 years later.
That's what's wild about this. Just being able to reflect on the start of your NBA play-by-play calling, and you look at where you're going into now, G-Man, in approaching 3,000 games this weekend. I mean, when you hear that number, what does that even mean to you?
It's kind of mind-numbing. I mean, I can't really grasp the reality, and yet by the same token, it's very meaningful to me. I proudly have autographed game balls from the 1,000th game and from the 2000th game. And hopefully I'll get an autographed game ball for number 3000. Whether or not it's going to be Sunday in OKC or if it'll in fact turn out to be Tuesday in OKC remains to be seen, because we don't know yet if Portland's going to make it in time to play tonight in Sacramento at Golden One.
Wow.
How wild is that?
That is crazy to think about that. Yeah, 3,000 games will be an amazing accomplishment for you, G-Man. You just mentioned the Blazers, and yeah, we don't know if they've even taken off yet to land in Sacramento. And I know over the years you have seen a lot of weird travel things. I was bringing up a game I remembered. I don't know if you remember this because you've called a billion of them now. 2006, you guys were on the back-to-back going to Denver. I believe you guys had to land in Colorado Springs, drive into Denver, and you beat the Nuggets that night in Allen Iverson's debut. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. And the one thing that I don't remember, that it was a back-to-back. And for some reason, that doesn't ring a bell with me, because I thought that we tried to go the day before, and because of blizzard-like conditions in Colorado, we were unable to do so. So on the day of the game, yes, in fact, we did fly and had to go to Colorado Springs rather than Denver, and then bus from Colorado Springs. We got into what was then known as the Pepsi Center, now a ball arena for the home of the Nuggets. We literally walked in the doors at 5:30 for a 7 o'clock game. They had some food available in the locker room, because there was no food available on the flight and on the bus ride coming from Colorado Springs. And guys were just kind of woofing down, some quick sandwiches or whatever, and then going on the floor to warm up. And we ended up winning that ball game. And there are two times, one of them being this last season when we were delayed and had to overnight in New Orleans. That was a back-to-back to play in San Antonio the next day. Had to fly day of, got in San Antonio around 1 o'clock early afternoon on that game, and we won that game against the Spurs. So the two occasions that I can remember where the Kings had game day flights ended up with victories. So that being said, don't count out the Portland Trailblazers. Don't count out Dame Lillard. Don't forget, just because they're missing Anthony Simons and they're missing Joseph Nurkic and Justice Winslow, Dame Dollar is liable to come in here and knock down 65 or something crazy like that tonight. So, it's going to be interesting. I hope the game is played, certainly, but take nothing for granted.
That's what's wild about it, is that people can feed off of different type of energy or be inspired by something else when they're running on fumes or barely getting to eat or just running in. I know we're talking about the game, but I'm curious for you, G-Man, was that ever, those two games that you mentioned for the Kings, you calling those games, taking you out of your routine? Was it ever weird for you to go in and call a game coming into the arena late?
Only from a couple of standpoints, and they were minor. It didn't really affect, I don't think, the big picture. I remember that when we were delayed this last season in New Orleans, we spent 3+ hours at the arena after a game against the Pels. And I used that time. I set up a makeshift little desk and propped up my laptop and went to work and started doing stuff to get ready for the next day's game against San Antonio. And then further updated some of that stuff on the plane ride, which was a short one from New Orleans to San Antonio. So it didn't impact a lot, but it does throw things into you just don't know what's going to happen. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's what's going through the minds of the Trailblazers right now. We don't know if, in fact, they were targeting, we were hearing a 1 o'clock takeoff time from the time they got de-iced. So we don't know if that, in fact, has taken place yet or not. I just can imagine. I was told earlier today, and I've got a couple of different sources have said that the Blazers were on the plane for 7 hours yesterday before the flight was eventually canceled. And then they had to go home and then come back to the airport this morning. And then they're still having rough weather in Portland and the de-icing and one thing or another. Once they get in the air, it's a very short flight. It's basically an hour and 20 minutes from Portland down to Sacramento. So I'm hoping, as I say, that we get to play the game, but it's the uncertainty. And I can't imagine, what they're going through, because just this morning I was at the arena early and went to shoot around and so forth. And I saw Monty McNair and Wes Wilcox, and they're on their phones a lot, and they're texting, and they're talking with people, and then Wes goes out and talks to the club at the end of shoot-around and basically saying, be prepared if this game does not get played. It's going to move up our travel tonight to L.A. because the Kings play the Clippers in L.A. tomorrow. So there are a lot of moving parts to these types of things, and it's just the uncertainty that everybody has to deal with, certainly magnified tenfold on the part of the Trailblazers versus the Kings.
Well, let's hope it gets played tonight, because I know this is a lot of excitement right now about this team with where they are at. And, we were thinking about the fact that you've obviously been calling games for 38 years. And, during that stretch, you've only seen 8 winning seasons and 10 playoff appearances. I know you love your job. I know you're great at what you do. You take great pride in it. But there's no doubt that during some of the tough times, it can be mentally, exhausting sometimes, just like dealing with losing. We talk about with players, but you've seen a lot of losing during your times as the play-by-play voice. How have you handled that during your run?
Well, it's a challenge. Early on, I didn't know any better. And the Kings did go to the playoffs the very first year in Sacramento. A lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
It was a best-of-3 series with Houston, and the first 2 were played in Texas. Kings lost those 2, then came home to play the Rockets as a number 8 seed versus a number 1, and they lost that. So it was a quick in and out. Well, then they didn't see the playoffs again until the mid-'90s, going against Seattle, and that was in the Mitch Richmond era. And the Kings split the first 2 up in Seattle, and that just led to a feeding frenzy among Kings fans, because that was huge. And you're on the threshold of maybe pulling off a stunning upset. You come home and you're doing really well against the Sonics until Mitch goes down in the second half with an injury, and that ended that playoff run. And then that takes you, of course, to the 8 years under Adelman, where the Kings were in the playoffs, and the memorable series, of course, against the Lakers and all of that. So there've been a lot of dreary times. It's a huge challenge. It is deflating and it is depressing at times. And I know that, as a young broadcaster, there are times you have to talk to yourself, and you have to kind of get yourself geared up and say, regardless of what happens tonight, try to be your best, try to be informative, try to be entertaining, and just, do your job to the best of your ability. And, we've had that tested at different times. We had it tested 10 years ago when it looked like the franchise was going to relocate and go to Seattle. We had it during COVID when we're doing games, the road games, on a remote basis and nobody in the building. And even with the cutouts in the building, when you were playing at home, it's a tough challenge. But the thing I love, Deuce, that gets us to tonight, is the fact that for the first time in the last 16 years, I legitimately am starting to feel like this team gives me confidence that on any given night, against any given opponent, in any given arena, they've got a legitimate chance to win. And I haven't had that feeling for far too long.
That's got to be, obviously, like you said, you throughout all the losing seasons have found it from within, respecting the art form of broadcasting to give it your all and find your own energy and everything else. But when you have a season like this with a team that you have covered for so long, it's just got to feel so different. What has been the most special part about this season so far for you?
I think it starts with Mike Brown and his staff. I've become a huge fan of the head coach and the staff that he has put together. And it's, I hearken back to that first media get together. And I know you guys were there back in June, right after the Warriors had won the championship, and Mike Brown makes his first visit to Sacramento. And there were a lot of people within the organization. There were a handful of players at his news conference. And he talks about needing soul within the organization. And from afar, he had detected that if there was soul, it wasn't the right kind of soul, and it didn't serve the correct purposes, and how there needed to be accountability. There needed to be everybody, not just the players and the coaching staff, but the medical staff, the front office, the people who sell the tickets, the marketing folks. Everybody has to pull on the same rope in the same direction, and you have a common goal, and that's go to the playoffs and succeed. you have to build this. It takes time. It's a process. We all know that, but we're seeing it happen. And to me, that's really exciting. And to me, that's been what has triggered this season of hope and renewal, revitalization, whatever you want to call it. It's so good to see it coming together finally.
Man.
I know, even that, just like
I know, it gets me even more fired up.
Play tonight.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
ready
get a
to
game.
go.
It's been too long since we played a game, G-Man. Well, G-Man, we appreciate you so much, of course. And let's hopefully we get a game tonight, and we'll do this again soon.
Well, thank you guys. As I've said in the past, love you and
love you
appreciate what you guys do. And you're special folks in my book. And let's keep it rolling.
G-Man, thank you. We love you too, man. We'll talk to you soon.
You bet.
That's the G-Man, Gary Gerald. Love that guy.
Like my heart, just him. I love him so much.
Yeah, he's just one of those people that like I've gotten to know over the, being born and raised in Sacramento. Like I always looked up to G-Man, of course, and then getting to work so closely with him for the last 10 years, just seeing how he goes about his business, right? He's just warm. He's professional. He prepares
everything you'd want in a broadcaster.
And
everything.
He's a great person. And in this business, there's a lot of like people, right? There's some people who just think they're the best. Like me, right? I'm the best. No, but you know what I mean? Like there's some people with just big egos, and it's like,
don't give you the time.
Man, have you seen the people that call the Stockton Kings games?
No.
Oh, they're terrible.
What are they like?
Egos.
Huge egos. We appreciate G-Man joining us on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda,
your one-stop Honda shop.
Not bad.
Thank you.
C-.
Okay.
C-.
Love you, G-Man. Oh man, yeah, really. I mean, yeah, we're so lucky to have him here in Sacramento. So
closing in on 3,000 games. Better give him a game ball. I'm gonna make sure. I gotta make some calls after this.
I love that he was like, got one for 1,000, got one for 2,000.
He should get the game mic.
The game mic.
What's the game mic?
Take the mic home with him.
But
the headset? Yeah, it's not very cool.
No, it would.
You know what I want? I want them. Hopefully, it's like a Kings win in OKC, and they bring him in the locker room after the game. They dump water on him, put defensive player of the game chain, and then make him pose with the team.
Yes,
pose with the team after.
Make a call.
I will.
Okay. Who would you call?
Let's check in with Nick. Hey, Nick.
What's up, Deuce and Mo? How are you?
Well, Nick, I'm a little worried about tonight. The Blazers still are. Last time I checked, they haven't even left Portland yet. Hopefully, we get a game.
Yeah, I'm here in downtown Sac waiting. So
okay, we got people on the ground. Nick is reporting live from downtown Sacramento at this hour. Nick, what's it look like outside?
Well, right now it is cold outside right now, but it's gonna get close. It's cutting it close. It's just cutting it close right now.
Who do you? Keep going.
Can he finish his report?
Sorry,
but I think they should be here tonight. I think they're going to be here tonight.
Why not play the game?
Why not play the game? We need the game played. I need to see the beam lit.
Yeah, we need to see the beam lit. But Nick, you know what's wild about this? You're not going to run into anybody at Starbucks because they're going to be rushing in so quick that they're not even going to have time to go to any of those Starbucks or anywhere that you usually run into one of the players.
No, they won't. And I won't get to see you. I won't get to see you guys tonight at Government Center because you guys will be in Stockton.
Yeah, yes, we have a long night ahead.
And night set is going to be a little crazy because we may have a little late night chat tonight.
It's a late night chat tonight. Thank you for updating us. Yes, our
Nick.
schedule is important. Nick is also, for those listening, he's also sounds like he's our personal assistant too.
I wish.
Well, Nick, any predictions for tonight? If they play this game, what do you want to see from the Kings?
I want to see a win.
How are we gonna do it though? I'm in the locker room, Coach Nick. You're talking to me. I'm going out to play the Blazers tonight. I know they got Dame Lillard. What do you want from me?
Play defense and stay on Damian Lillard.
Okay.
Stay on him.
That's a good one.
But what if he gets by me? Then what?
Well, stay underneath the basket. Block him.
Block him.
That's a good point.
That was a good point.
All right, Nick. Why not?
And hey, why not light the beam? And you know what? We got to play at 7:30 tomorrow.
And that should be illegal.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks, Nick.
Sleep beams.
See you guys tonight on Night Chat.
All right.
See you on night.
If there's no game, is there a night chat?
Yes.
Oh.
We're
So this is-
celebrating.
Wow, I like how we were both in agreement there.
No, no.
There is a chance that there might be 83 night chats this season.
Yeah, but there's also that's the thing. We've done night chats and breaking news podcasts whenever there's
Yeah.
like breaking. So there's a lot.
Does that count as night chat? Though?
Yeah,
Sometimes if it's at
pretty
night.
pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, we got more to get to. We'll keep you updated on the Blazers if this game's being played tonight. Hopefully it is.
I'm just getting word that the Kings actually have to fly to Portland now.
Could you imagine? They're like, actually, it's easier for you guys to just fly in now.
No,
we'll
thanks.
keep you posted on that. Also, I believe we got a little story time with Christopher Ladd.
Baby.
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports. Let's get to some of the comments. I love it. Is G-Man in the NBA Hall of Fame? If not, he should be. There's no NBA Hall of Fame, but Basketball Hall of Fame, he is not. Should be. B. Perry. Morgan, your hair looks fire today.
Thank you, B. Perry.
Morgan got highlights.
She got dim highlights.
What would you do if I came in with highlights, but I also had like long hair, like yours?
You could do that. And if you did, I'd be like, wow, good for you.
Benjamin said the Kings need a ring of honor, with our first 4 entrants being Greg Lukenbill, who brought the Kings to Sacramento, the G-Man, and Rick Adelman. Well, who's the 4th?
Yeah.
You mentioned 3. Oh, I think he's saying Deuce would be the first. That makes sense. Okay.
Oh, come on.
Can they have a tip-off at 7:30 p.m. or later? No, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, you wonder if the Kings would do them a favor and be like, hey, like, you're getting in late. Like, let's tip this off at 7:30. I don't know. I don't know how that works because,
Why couldn't it do that?
I mean, they could. It just messes with the broadcast. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of different obstacles with the NBA. So, yeah, G-Man is definitely a legend. Let's see. I was looking at the Blazers play-by-play guy. Travis, is it? I don't want to say his last name. Demers? Is it Demers? I don't know how to say his last name. But he was asked a little bit ago if they've taken off, but that was right at 1, and he said not yet. Let's see here.
Hi. We need an update, people. We need updates galore.
Let's see here. Yeah, 26 minutes ago, he said not yet. We need updates, Blazers people.
Yeah, like if you're important, where's your source?
Yeah, why? How do all these Sacramento people have sources with the Blazers? Who works there from Sacramento?
Rasan.
Duh! That's who it is. Former PR person. Okay.
Wow, just naming people's sources out there, huh?
I mean, I don't even know, but it should be everyone's source.
Well, I do have a source, and it looks like I might be watching All Things Everywhere All at Once.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Everything everywhere all at once. Get it right.
That's what I said.
No,
all the
except-
things at once every time.
I feel like the game is going to happen. But
You think so?
I do too.
yeah, I mean, it sucks. It definitely sucks. But like, it's not the first. Like G-Man just talked about the time in 06 where they were walking in 90 minutes before a game. I mean, it happens. I mean, it could be worse too. At least the Blazers are coming off the All-Star break. They're coming from home. It could be like the Kings, when they had this happen last year in New Orleans, where they had to travel game day.
Awful.
They were sitting in a plane. Then they had to go back and rebook the hotel. That's not easy to just go back and be like, hey, we actually need to come back. And they had to take everything out of the team bus, get everything unpacked again. And then they left the next day to travel on game day to San Antonio.
And you think about some of these hotels and even the rooms that they have and everything. Some of them are taken up already.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It's bad.
Yeah. In New Orleans too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's not, and they're not going, the Kings aren't staying at like the Holiday Inn.
There we
Express.
go. Right.
Doubletree.
They're staying in nice
Like-
places.
Four Seasons status.
Oh.
God, I want to stay at a Four Seasons. Make that a sponsor. I would like Four Seasons.
Okay.
The Ritz.
From just a pure selfish standpoint.
Yeah. What else do you want?
you kind of hope this game's not played. Here's why I kind of hope it is.
I know.
Because we're in Stockton tonight for a G League game that's around the same time. And then we're going to come back to Sacramento, wrap up the rest of the Kings game on DVR, then do night chat. Or if this game gets canceled or postponed, we're in the clear. We don't miss a home game.
We don't miss a home game.
So
and we
sweet.
still get to do a night chat and celebrate something.
I got a fog machine, Chris.
Hey, why are you telling people you got a fog machine?
Can I borrow it?
I have a great video I'm going to post tomorrow.
No, you're not.
Why not?
I don't approve of it.
Yeah, you do.
I do not.
It's great.
Would I be able to like rent it next August?
Yes.
Yeah. It's pretty expensive to rent. I don't know if I told you about it, but yeah.
How much?
We'll talk. We'll talk.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Patrick, they do. I mean, it's a chartered plane, but I mean, it's a plane. Private planes or
Still have
chartered
to
planes.
follow the law.
Yeah, they don't have like the different capabilities. I mean, if it's a weather related item, it's tough. Christine, the chess is the Portland weather forecast shows windy at 2 and 3 and snow following that hour. So hope they have taken off. I used to want to be a weather guy. Like I used to really wanted to do weather on TV.
I could see that.
I think if you needed me to do weather in a pinch, I could do it. I could do that and election coverage, like John King.
So you see here, there's a path
of sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlod with your Sactown Sports Headlines. The NBA is back for most teams and hopefully all teams tonight. The Sacramento Kings will be possibly back in action tonight when they host the Portland Trail Blazers. Kings will also have guard Malik Monk back on the floor tonight after he missed 2 games with a sprained ankle. He told reporters Tuesday that he is good to go tonight. You can listen to the game starting with game night at 5:30 and tip-off scheduled for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. Trailblazers are having a heck of a time to make it here to Sacramento. It started last night when they were on the tarmac for several hours without able to leave. That flight was eventually canceled, and they were expecting to reschedule the flight for today. But as of right now, nobody knows if they have made it to Sacramento so far. So keep listening, and we will get you all of your plane information from Portland, Oregon.
Yes.
That is our Sactown Sports Headlines. Now more of Deuce and Mo.
It's Deuce and Mo on your local sports leader.
Sactown Sports.
We do have an update at this hour. According to Sactown Sports 1140's Jason Ross, the Blazers plane just got cleared for departure. They should be leaving very shortly. Jason says, let's play some hoops. So if the game is not played tonight, you blame Jason Ross.
Yes. Yes.
But yes, their plane is cleared for departure. He tweeted that out just about 2 minutes ago.
Who the hell is Jason Ross talking to?
So again, 90 minutes. That puts them landing if they are leaving right now, right? About 3 o'clock. They're
Around
landing. That means getting all their stuff, getting on the bus, getting to the arena. 3:45. It's not terrible.
Well, getting to the arena, by the time they get to the arena, it'll be like
go through security.
It'll be like 4:15.
It's not that bad. It could be worse. I mean, it's not ideal for them at all. They're out of their routine. This is just a game that the Kings got to take care of business, Morgan. It's a game against a Western Conference foe that's just a half game out of the play-in spot. They're shorthanded. No Simons, no Nurk, no Winslow. You're at home, coming off the break. They've had travel issues galore. You got to take care of business.
Yeah, you can't come into this game like, oh, man, they've had a lot of disadvantages and challenges going into today's game, so they're going to feel really tired. No. Turn on the Jets when you go into the gym tonight, when you're taking on this Portland Trail Blazers team. You got to step on the gas. You got to go make sure that you're locked in from the start of the game. You know how that can play a part. You know, it could be like, they tired. They out of routine. You think Dame's out of routine? I think not, my friends.
Can't wait. Can't wait for tonight, Morgan.
Yeah.
Bring it on. We'll talk more about it. How about we mix in some story time with Christopher Long?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. It's time for story time with Chris Verlon, baby! Yes.
All right, so where should we start? Do you want to start internationally?
Can we keep the music bed on lightly?
I think there's like a lot of
words.
talking.
Yeah, it's fine. We should note that Chris brings some random ass stories to the table. He brings like 3 or 4 weird stories that we would not normally cover. So buckle up. Let's see. Let's start international, Chris.
International. Amsterdam, Netherlands. This is courtesy of the NL Times.
Okay.
Artis Zoo in Amsterdam has a dung problem.
What? Excuse me. What's dung? Like poop?
The zoo has a herd of Asian elephants that produce around 300 kilograms, 661.387 pounds of elephant dung a day.
630 pounds a day.
So, like, what are you supposed to do with that?
Fertilize it.
Throw it out? You got to do something with it.
Yeah.
Well, instead of just throwing it out, the zoo teamed up with 5 students from the AMS Institute and told them to dig in, do what you like. Let's see what you could do here. Let's make some experiments. And through experimenting, they were able to make a park bench made from the zoo's 65% elephant dung and 35% recycled plastic.
I love it.
I was going to say poop snowman, but bench.
I swear to you, my first thought was,
Yes.
oh, poop ball fight.
Poop ball fight.
Yeah.
Good job.
And I'm not doing it, obviously, with bare hands. I'm using gloves, just like I would the snow. When you're making a snowball, you're not doing it without gloves. You do
Obviously.
gloves and you're just,
Bare hand the
Well,
snowman.
then you're still not getting rid of it.
oh, but it breaks apart and just gets spread everywhere.
Yeah, so I'm actually making something out of it. Go on.
The zoo is currently testing the durability of the prototype. If it proves reliable, Artis plans to replace its park benches with sustainable model of elephant dung.
That is genius. This is the best story you've had so far. By
Don't
the
you
way.
do a good, if I remember, don't you do a good elephant impersonation?
No, only
I
a
thought
dolphin.
you do.
I don't
No,
even.
I thought you did.
I thought
What's
you
the sound?
did.
What's it sound like?
I don't know how to do an elephant.
Yeah, that's it. What is it? Stomper? Is he
What's
in
that?
studio? Is Stomper in studio?
How was that elephant?
Do it again.
Sounds a lot like a horse.
You know it does. It sounds like something's dying. I could.
How does it sound? How's it sound? How's an elephant sound? Actually, that's not bad.
Really?
That sounds like a call.
What was that?
That was a sick elephant.
Love the story. Ended well. No one died. Great. No one died
That's
of
good.
poop.
You know what? I don't think anyone's going to die today.
Okay. What's next
Wow.
on Storytime with Chris Verlon?
Let's go to Tokyo, Japan.
Okay.
I'd love to.
A Japanese startup announced plans yesterday to launch commercial space viewing balloon flights. Because as you know, right now is a time you want to go up in a huge balloon up in space
Yes,
where no
okay.
one's going to be worrying about that.
Absolutely.
So the company CEO, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Kaisuke Awaya,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I just mangled that,
That's okay. I
says
mean,
it's safe, economical, and gentle for people. The idea is to make space tourism for everyone,
oh,
and it will democratize space.
Okay, this whole space travel thing, we got to tap the brakes on this. We're not ready. We're not even.
But this is for people. This is like, hey, you don't have to be a rich guy to do this. This
Sure.
is for like
So-
every normal.
again, when rich people do this, though, they have everything protecting them,
Yeah.
right? And like when you shove some poor people up in a balloon into space, most likely their brains are going to explode because
Yeah.
there's not going to be the correct
Well,
equipment.
Let me tell you about it. The company has developed an airtight 2-seat cabin and a balloon capable of rising to an altitude of 25 kilometers, 15 miles, Deuce, where the curve of the Earth can be clearly viewed.
Okay, so it's not that far. You're not like going to the moon on this thing. You're just
No.
going. Okay.
You can see space. You can see the curve in the Earth.
I'm not
There's
doing
no
it.
way I'm doing it.
Mm-mm.
It seems super compact.
You will
I
be
don't-
higher than a jet.
Could you imagine?
No, I can't. No,
That's
no.
too high up. and
I
it's
don't
too
even like
compact.
being in a plane.
Yeah.
No.
I'm out.
The
Yeah.
company teamed up with a Japanese travel agency and is ready for a commercial trip. The first flights are a little bit on the pricey side. Initially will cost 24 million yen, which is $180,000.
Oh, that's cool. That's it. Just for anybody, right?
Yeah, what type of people are we
But-
still talking
But
about?
they hope to bring the price down to several million yens, just around a couple $10,000.
I'm out. No,
Again.
thanks. No, I'm good. I'm good.
Like-
You know what I can do?
What?
I can look online at some amazing high resolution pictures of it. I'm not doing that.
I follow NASA. I follow all those amazing space Instagrams. So I get all the nice little shots, videos. I get my touches. I'm good.
All right, let's see. Gonna have to be quick here. Let's go to my shortest story. Clearwater, Florida.
Oh, I love Florida.
WFLA TV. 2 West Central Florida paramedics were suspended after pronouncing a man dead.
He was not dead.
Paramedics from Station 47 responded to a call about a 65-year-old man in cardiac arrest at a private residence and pronounced the man dead shortly after arrival. They left the area after deputies of the sheriff's office arrived to investigate the death because someone died. He's like, all right, time to investigate.
Yeah.
That is when deputy noticed that the man breathing and requested medical crews to return to the scene. Largo Fire and Rescue, not the original, were called where the man's condition was upgraded from dead to alive. The man was taken to a hospital where he is now recovering.
Oh my God. That's so scary. That's so scary.
Which part is scary about
Just
it?
the fact that, hey, he's dead. We'll have to investigate. We'll take it from here. See ya.
Shove him in a body bag.
Yeah. You're like, no.
Yeah, what would be scary is like the person saying like, this person's dead. I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden,
Which
that's so scary.
Well, I'm glad. No death, just close to
nobody died. That was the first.
Favorite story? Poop bench.
Poop bench?
Poop bench was the
Okay,
winner.
all right.
Yep.
That was the winner. All right, coming up next, we will get closer to Kings Blazers. Let's see if Morgan will actually make a prediction about tonight's big game.
Oh my God.
Final 25 games, baby. It's Kings and Blazers. It's going to happen because they have taken off, I think,
Woo!
from Portland.
Yeah.
We'll do that next on Sactown Sports. Dun 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 dun. I have that song stuck in my head.
I know. Oh, I know.
I love that Jason Ross has been the guy like covering this Portland thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm so confused. I need to know his source. One.
How are we on the thumbs up, Mo?
We're at 224. Could use a couple more. Ayo.
250 would be great. All it does is help the channel grow. Appreciate you guys being here.
Hmm.
I wonder if the line has changed on this Kings game. Let's see here. We're gonna feel really low tomorrow if the Kings lose.
Yeah, I think
I would be extremely
Right.
disappointed.
Disappointed. I thought you were going to say depressed. I was like, no, I'm disappointed.
6.5 point spread still, according to the latest on ESPN.com.
Okay.
And I'm guessing they're waiting for the plane to land
Yeah.
to change it because
Yeah,
I'm
no,
guessing
that's
it's going to
true.
go up.
They're like, let's see if these guys get some food. French fries sounds so good right now.
The JJ sub says he will cry if the Kings lose.
Oh, come on. So, yeah.
And Nick says meaningful basketball in February is amazing. Dude, it is so refreshing. How many times we've been talking over the years about, can we just get to a point where we're like talking about potential playoff matchups and actual basketball instead of the usual stuff this time of year, which is like, what do you think, a coaching change? What trades are they going to have to make? And
think about all the drama that's usually being talked about. Like, is so-and-so going to get fired? We don't know. I mean, he didn't do this. He didn't do that.
I agree with Jamar in the chat too. With no Nurkic, who's the big, like Drew Eubanks? Is he going to be able to defend? He's a big guy. He's strong, but Sabonis has to have a big night tonight too.
Yeah,
just take it to him. What would be great tonight is if the Kings go, we're not playing around. This team's been bad defensively. Let's just go. Let's win by 20 tonight. Get some rest and get ready for a showdown with Russell Westbrook and the Clippers.
You know what I think would get the Kings like, all right, enough playing around. We're going at it first quarter right now.
What?
Is it have tip off? Fans start chanting light the beam.
Chris.
They start chanting light the beam and they're like, yeah, let's do it.
No, absolutely.
And then they win the quarter by like 25 points and then boom.
And then they lose the lead.
Right. No, thanks. No, thanks. I'm good.
If they don't do it and they lose.
I do think
right.
it's funny that when we're talking about the Kings so much with the last 25 games, there's been so much focus on them falling apart versus like, hey, they could actually be better coming out of the break. Like,
I know, and I understand that. I think the reason why everyone's geared to everyone else being better is because everyone else made changes. Changes don't necessarily mean better basketball, better team, whatever. But I think people are going off of, hey, teams feeling a little bit more inspired, individuals, players, Russell Westbrook, like there's guys that feel different when you make adjustments to your squad. So I get it. Though, like the Kings have played great basketball all year long and there should be respect there. They just got to keep it consistent for the rest of the year and people are going to look at them as real. I don't want to say contenders, but just like
a real threat, like a tough out.
Yes.
A tough out.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I was listening to J Ross today with J Mars in the morning and like the first round could be insane this year because like as it stands right now, and I know a lot can change. You'd have the 3-6 matchup would be Sacramento Dallas, but the 4-5 matchup would be Clippers Suns, meaning one of those teams would be bounced in the first round.
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
Well, we've been waiting. Will the Blazers plane take off? Well, it's taking off. The Blazers traveling on a game day, leaving Portland, and we're getting an update that Damian Lillard is unlikely to play tonight against the Sacramento Kings.
Being serious?
That's from Chris Haynes. So the latest update, Dame Lillard doesn't sound like he is going to play tonight. The exact tweet from Chris Haynes over from Bleacher Report and TNT. They're finally on the runway to take off for tonight's game against the Kings after nearly 24 hours of weather uncertainty. But star guard Damian Lillard is unlikely to play, league sources tell TNT. That's significant.
Yeah.
But I know it's like, hey, it's whatever, you just play the games on your schedule. I'm getting so sick of these teams like sitting guys against the Kings.
Dude, and you just, again, it's not even.
You'll take the win.
That's where my first thought honestly goes there. I'm like, hell yeah. Like, great. Kings have to defend one less guy, right? But then I go and my brain goes to fan mode and for all the people that pay for tickets that are wanting to see Dame. Not even.
So it's a must win. J Mars is right when he said this morning it's a must win. You lose tonight, no Dame, no Simons, no Nurk. No, honestly, they should take care of business tonight. And it's just a little, why do you think Dame's not playing?
Well, I was just looking. I was like, when's their next game? They're not even playing until Sunday.
Dame's exhausted
at
from
home.
He was like, I was only playing for 7 hours. I can't. I used all my brain power on coming up with that
rap
song.
Yeah.
I think he pulled a Deuce.
What's that?
I think what Deuce was describing, if he was on the plane and what he would do, I think they're like, hey, we're leaving today. We're all good to go. Dame said, you know what? You told me that yesterday. I'm not buying it. I'll meet you guys back up when we come back up.
Honestly, though, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's okay. He's not hurt, whatever. Wow. Unbelievable. Wow. Chris Haynes this is another thing.
So glad we got that information.
No. We have an update at this hour. The Blazers are announcing that Dame Lillard and Jeremy Grant will rest tonight.
Probably because of all the...
you know what? I'm going to say this right now. That's a joke.
Play through it.
No, you're trying to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You're trying to make the playoffs.
Is this like what? Yeah. And
you're not the first team in NBA history to deal with travel issues on a game day. You know what you do? You go, let's rally the troops. Let's figure it out. You're trying to make the playoffs.
Who are you sticking it to by not playing? right?
That's-
Aren't you just screwing yourself over?
I am stunned by that. So no Dame,
okay,
no Jeremy Grant, no Nurkic, no Simons, no Winslow. That was at one point their starting 5.
J Mars was right this morning.
Oh.
This is officially a must win.
I don't know why I feel like I'm doing a show in Portland right now, but I don't like that. No, I don't. What?
Oh my God. Well, think about it. These guys will get a lot of rest. Is there another guy that's not playing or what?
I am honestly stunned by that.
Yeah.
I mean, so they sat on the tarmac for 7 hours and that's weird.
It's all weird.
Chris, are we overreacting because we are yelling right now? Why are we yelling?
Because it's stupid. Like, if there was no snow, they would be playing.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Thank you. It's, again, don't care from
they landed last night, if they were on the tarmac for 7 hours and they landed at 3:00 in the morning this morning, they would be playing tonight.
You think, right?
You would think so.
Robin on our Discord says Chauncey Billups is the backup point guard tonight.
So stupid.
Oh,
dude.
Man. Okay, all right. Now, is this one of those games that there's no way the Kings lose?
No, because that's God, that's wild. You just look at what Lillard's been doing this season.
So they'll still have Shaedon Sharp. Who is there? Shaedon Sharp, Cam Reddish, Matisse Thybulle, Nasir Little, Kevin Knox, Trenton Watford.
Here's
Jabari
my thing.
Walker. Oh my God! If the Kings lose,
it's still an NBA team. It's still an NBA team.
Morgan?
And no. When I look at it like this, my point is the mentality of this Kings squad needs to be like Portland Crash. What? Who used to do that? Why am I thinking that?
Lana.
Oh yeah.
It's Rusev
Crash.
Now do it for Portland.
Okay, Portland Crash.
No, it should be Kings.
It should be Sacramento Crush because you're crushing.
Oh
Portland.
yeah. Okay. Sacramento Crush. You like that?
Yes.
I looked right into everyone's
One more
eyes.
just to make sure it's good.
Sacramento Crush.
Wow.
Thank you.
Okay, a couple of things before we get out of here.
Yeah.
How about this? This day, 1993, in Sacramento history, the Sacramento Gold Miners were admitted to the Canadian Football League as their 9th franchise, their first U.S. team. They played they played at Hornet Stadium where Sac State plays. Current Warriors announcer Tim Roy was the radio announcer for that team.
No way.
And who played on that team?
Who?
Chris knows this.
Goldberg.
WWE Hall of Famer Goldberg played on that team on the Sacramento Gold
with hair.
Miners.
He had hair.
Yeah.
What year was that?
1993.
That's wild.
We had a CFL team in Sacramento.
World champion Canadian Football League.
Weird.
So no, I'm thinking of the.
No, you're thinking of the Surge, right?
Surge.
Surge.
Yeah, Goldberg was on the Surge.
I think he was on the Gold Miners too. No,
Are you sure about that? I don't think so.
I could be making that up.
I don't think
Deuce is just making stuff up.
I do know that they inherited the home stadium front office and much of the roster from the Sacramento Surge after the World League of American Football folded, and then they became the Sacramento Gold Miners. Morgan, Kings, Blazers tonight.
Okay.
I was joking, hey, make a prediction. Who you got?
Yeah.
Let's repeat this.
Yeah.
The Blazers, who tried to leave Portland yesterday, sat on the tarmac for 7 hours. Then they tried to leave today at 10 in the morning. They just left a little bit ago.
Yeah. Not even.
They were
land.
shorthanded going in tonight with no Simons, no Nurkic, no Justice Winslow. We just find out from Chris Haynes that Jeremy Grant and Dame Lillard will not play tonight. Who you got, Kings, Blazers?
It's easy. I got the Kings. And I had the Kings before all this, but I was on the borderline, worried, coming back, fresh legs. We've seen what the Kings have done when they have fresh legs for some reason. But now this is you can put those words must win before this, because if you don't win a game like this, then you ain't the real deal. This is after the All-Star break when it's the push needs to be there.
If Vegas made the point spread 13.5, would you take that? Will the Kings win by more than 13.5 points tonight?
I love that you break it down for me too. You're
because you don't know
gambling.
gambling.
Yeah, because I do not know gambling. I don't
Kings, you win by 25 tonight. Don't play around. Go win this game.
I'm just saying
Go win by 25.
I'm just saying win. I don't think you need to win by 25.
If they don't win by 20 or more tonight.
So stupid. What, Deuce? What are you going to do?
I'm not going to be happy.
Oh,
I'm not going to be happy.
I want Kessler Edwards to have like 30 minutes tonight.
That's what I want.
That's what I want.
I want Delhi throwing lobs to Kessler Edwards tonight.
Every time I've asked for that, though, I'm like, okay, this is a game that Delhi gets in. This is a game that, Rashawn sees some minutes. It doesn't happen. It was like in Houston. It doesn't happen.
Just one more thing on this, though. It is irritating because this is what I talk about. If tonight you are taking little Betty to the game, or little Johnny to the game, and I can't wait to see Dame Dollar. I can't wait. Is it Dame
know
time?
what time it is.
And guess what?
Yeah.
You don't get to see Dame Dollar.
You
tonight.
know what
No
time
Dame
it is,
Lillard.
kid.
Load management. Gotta
Disappointment
rest.
time.
You sit on a plane for 7 hours. You're tired.
Dude, don't
play
do that,
those
though.
games. I don't like that. No,
I know,
you can
but we
play a
don't know
game.
the reason.
Okay.
We don't know the reason. So.
All right. Well, coming up next, Cattles and Rami take you to the 6. Or actually, it's a little earlier than that. But they're on up until game night. Then we got Kings Blazers straight ahead. All the coverage. We love you guys, but we got to go.
See ya. Sacramento Crush.